Afternoon. We're back to basically session highs here on all three markets, including the S&P here, 0.9 now to the downside. Much better than the last time we looked at this, that's for sure. 1.14 for the Dow lagging. It's been lagging all day long. Yeah, only 0.28 now for the NASDAQ. Has definitely led us off of the lows throughout the session. The TSX 1.7, pretty ugly day once again for crude oil, for energy, for resource shares as well. Heavily weighted on the TSX. Brazil's lower, crude is lower, as I said. 5.5%, 11% now for Ethereum. Huge moves back to the upside for both this afternoon. So pretty good look for crypto stocks. Yeah, some more green creeping back in here. Let's focus on these right now. The tech sector, Qualcomm, ADI, TXN, to name a few, in the semiconductor group back to the upside. QCOM with a positive note today. Hard to see, I know, but that's, where is it? There we go. That's Apple. Tough to see there. 1.3%, as I said, Apple having a nice day. AMAT back to the upside. So basically all of the semiconductors are now positive. TYL, IBM, and the software group also trying to get back to positive territory. But it's been the tech sector that has led things all afternoon, while the banks continue to lag off of JPM and MS this morning, both missing expectations. There's been these two for most of the day, FRC and SPGI. Still positive, but the rest pretty weak. Yeah, 1.3 right now on oil, but look at the energy sector here. Bright red. Apache leads 6% lower today. Devon, VLO, to name a few, all in negative territory. Material stocks are lower. You get the picture here. WBD, Warner Brothers, and Paramount, I saw having a pretty rough day. 4.5, 4.2 for both. So some of the streaming names back under pressure. Netflix. Did not see Netflix, but it was lower out of the gate this morning after that Microsoft story yesterday, but back to the upside a little bit this afternoon, along with, again, some of the semiconductors leading. Hope your afternoon is going well. Welcome back in. We'll get into what was available this morning for opportunities on the trading side. If you're not doing so already, make sure you join us every day at 8:30 Eastern. We start talking about what is to come at the open and get you ready with trading setups. Sean's here. He's going to lead the way this afternoon with a look at one of his trades.
Thanks, Brendan. And yes, today's trade of the day is brought to you by Day Trade the World, the world's leading day trade company. Start your journey today with Day Trade the World. Okay, let's get going on this trade right now. Apple. Look, this one to me, it's pretty simple. We've seen the strength in Apple the last couple of days. I've loved Apple. I think it's going to touch that 150. It wants to get back there. If the market's going to rally, I feel like it's going to be led by Apple. It's one of those stocks. It's value, growth, it's tech. It's all kind of wrapped into one. They've got a dividend there. Their products continue to soar, man. Lots of different avenues there. Subscription model, the streaming now. Obviously, we know about the products and the hardware. I love Apple, needless to say. And I think it just has to continue to go this way, right? So let's just look at something right here just real quick. I wanted to show you this bottom here for the NASDAQ. So this chart here is the NASDAQ 100, right? And as you can see, it's the futures. But right now, getting back to green. Whatever, we don't call those kind of things. But when you're looking at the bottom, and I pulled this chart out here today for us on the morning show, and I was like, if this NASDAQ keeps falling, where possibly could we bounce? And I just said maybe 11.5, 11.4. So you can go all the way back here to early July and see that we had a monster dip down at the beginning of the month. We know that there was some correction happening. I just didn't think that we were going to have that today. We had the CPI number come out yesterday. Obviously, it was hot at 9.1, but the market was actually okay. I mean, it was kind of flat yesterday, rebounded from that CPI number. So I just was like, you know what, if there's going to be some kind of a correction today, I just don't see us breaking back below that number yesterday. There's the CPI, that little wick down there to that 11.4. I was like, you know what, if they want to take it out, they should have done it yesterday. I guess I could stay over here quickly. This is Apple's chart. So there it is right here, 144. So we kind of draw the same line here as it is on the NASDAQ, as it is on Apple. You could see dip downs here. So, we did have that move down yesterday into 144. But I wasn't expecting that. So we sit here at 144, which is a very, very key level. And it's just doing a little bit of, extending out the trade, right? I mean, you can't just sit there. And this is something that I've learned throughout my many years of trading, is that if you're too small on your time frame, then you are going to get wicked out. You're going to get taken out. I don't mind trading that if that's the plan. okay? Like you'll see me get out at 20-cent losers, 50-cent losers, so on and so forth. But sometimes it's worth holding, especially when you got that support. So into today, let's look at Apple, right? So it's gonna look bad, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. You have to stay with the stocks. If you think something's breaking, get out, that's fine. But don't get away from it. And that's exactly what we do here on Apple. We start the day looking at it, right? I never want to get in early. Why? I think this is a perfect example. Here's 930, starts upside, then absolutely tanks back in to that 143 level, right? If we were looking at Apple initially, which we were not, that would have been a great buy right there, okay? But we were not looking at that. So we buy the breakout of the top. The thing is, I don't want to play breakouts, but once it breaks this 144, see, it's pre-market highs right there, market starting to rally up. So we're like, hey, let's take that break. Doesn't work. This is the problem. So as it starts coming back down, we actually average into kind of the midway range there, ahead of VWAP, ahead of the 50 period, comes back to the upside. We start getting some out. So we're getting it out for relatively flat here because we can be wrong. Maybe the market does fall in, but then boom, it breaks back down through VWAP, breaks through that 143.50 area, and we get out. But look what we notice holds. At this point, we then extend out and say, hey, we know we want to buy Apple, but can we do something where we're holding it a little bit longer for a bigger move? So we find these levels, we extend it out, go back to that 144. Here's 144. Buy once, boom, comes back in, buy again. We like it. You buy it twice. Then look at the explosion to the upside here on Apple. So the market starts taking off, which are we green yet? Almost we're green there on the market. So market blows to the upside, right? And look at this. Look at these hits. This hit is a long 144, out 143.80, something like that. So there it is, 20 cents back and forth on the out. But look what happens on the win. We only start taking profits at 20 cents. Boom to the upside, 144.80, 145, 145.50, 146.50. Okay, so right in there, it's 250 in the money, continues to rip up. We're like, yeah, we got this, baby. Let it keep going up. Hits 147, falls back in. At that time, this was the 50 period, breaks. We get out at 146.50. Cry me a river, because look what happens right now. Boom, all the way to the upside, 148. So we're dead on. We're dead on with this Apple trade, buying this 144 off of some of this resistance. Sorry, some of this support down there. But you can't hold them all day. We have a nice winner here in Apple. We're really happy about it. And that's just goes to show you, sometimes when you zoom out, you get a little bit of a better picture. I'm not sure if I would have dropped it off there, but once we got the confidence, we were able to buy it back against VWAP, against that lower level, and then up to the upside. And that's what I mean. When you're taking risk to reward of like 30 cents to the downside, but then taking $2.50 when it's starting to rip up, you know it's a good day. We got the Ice Cube shirt on, so it's a good day today, and it's a nice little upside move. It's your trade of the day, and it's brought to you by Day Trade the World.
And amazing opportunity right across the board for those this morning. On the watch list this morning, make sure you grab that every single day for free before we come on at 8:30, guys. That is the link, oops, to the watch list. We'll get that off. There we go. Hi. Intel, I was just watching some of the chip makers here. Looks like the Democrats were basically coming across saying that they wanted to vote on the CHIPS bill next week. Republicans just replied saying, nope, not going to do that next week. So some of the chip stocks, AMD, Nvidia, Intel, all just popped up on some volume there. So a heads up if you're watching some of those. Let's talk about a few things here. We had EWM moving around midday. Some of the volume coming back into that on that Draghi announcement as well. Italy's PM resigning midday today, but we still have a little bit of volume left on the banks as well. I was going to lead off with some of the banks, obviously coming off JP Morgan, off Morgan Stanley earnings this morning. Not great, but it's been a choppy day for these banks today.
Yeah, there was one trade, and if you had to be sitting in the short on the banks this morning, like that was pretty much it. Like they went down, made a double bottom in JP Morgan. I don't think, across the board, both the numbers weren't that great, to be honest with you. You're gonna halt that buyback, or sorry, not halt the buyback. I guess it's temporarily suspend the buybacks for JPM. It's not like it's gone forever. And the guide wasn't all that particularly good. And Jamie Dimon has been relatively negative for this entire last year or so. So I don't think we saw anything too unexpected, but we flushed at the open and it's been going sideways, if not bouncing ever since. There was that shot to short it off of 110. That's what I liked. That being said, I wasn't willing to sit in the short at 7 o'clock with the conference call looming. So, it didn't really matter at the open because we just sort of fell off from 108.50. Sometimes there's just not a trade. And when there's not a trade, the best thing you can do is not to trade it, I suppose. And that's all we did with JP. I wish I could tell you that something came out of that talks that gave me some confidence that you can start going long a Morgan Stanley or something like that, which I like. I'm not really seeing any of that yet. I think you're still in a holding period for when these things can get picked up. Like the market's rallying big. It's not off the back of these banks. Yeah, they're not at the lows of the day, but it's not like they're screaming with strength, right? Like, go pull up a chart of any one of the chip names, and you'll see what's leading the market to the upside. It's definitely not the banks here today. So they're still in the doghouse for the time being.
I mean, it's why you have the S&P right now down almost 1% and the NASDAQ trying to get green right here. Of course, we are short Amazon and really like this position. I talked about this on the midday show. We're going to be short this name for a bit, but I stay away from the banks. Look, Jamie Dimon's been screaming like, watch out now for a very long time, man. Like, I wish we could find that, and I know Brendan's a busy man right now, and I probably should have found it, but I didn't realize I'd talk about this right now. But, when he mentioned that there was a hurricane coming through, you know what I mean? Jamie Dimon did mention that, and I'm just going to find the daily chart here for me. And I don't know what day that is. I mean, I guess I could Google it. It's probably a lot of articles on that one. But, I mean, it's just been straight to the downside here for JP Morgan ever since we made that 170 top back in January. So for me, it continues to be the same kind of story here for JP Morgan and the like, and that is that, you know what, man, the sky's not necessarily falling, but if you own bank stocks right now, it's not very good. And honestly, we're about to do something about how to fight recession and things like that. And quite frankly, like, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of different articles and things like that come through, and it's like, you don't buy the banks because you have dividend protection from these guys. I mean, you're down 4% today. The dividend is 3%. So, I mean, all of that gets squashed. Now, there's going to be tax advantages, so on and so forth. I understand, how dividends are taxed versus equity versus capital gains. So, that's completely different. So throw that out the window. But, I mean, for right now, man, the banks look just as bad as everything else, if not worse. I mean, they're straight to the downside. You want to say like banks versus Apple, and that's why I was talking about Apple, why Apple's up so much today. And I don't even think Apple, even on Apple earnings, how bad could they be? Look how Apple looks. Is it downwards? Yeah, of course. The trend is down, right? But you're talking about a 180 high into 150 right now. Like, that's almost like nothing. So compare that to what some of these banks were doing there. JP Morgan to the downside today, 4%. Morgan Stanley is actually, in my opinion, I don't know. I thought, and I said this yesterday, and I'm glad at least Morgan Stanley's not down as much as JP Morgan today, because remember, Morgan came out right this day when they were doing the stress tests and they were allowed to sort of announce their new capitalization and things like that. Morgan Stanley came out with a buyback. So for me, I think a $20 billion buyback like Morgan Stanley has on right now, would give you some cover for buying this stock, but if they're buying it back, they might want to do it today. You are down near some of these levels, so we'll see what happens from that. But if you're going to choose one, obviously today, Morgan versus Morgan Stanley. I can't keep saying Morgan. I'm talking about two different ones here. Morgan Stanley, definitely the stronger name against JP Morgan. And if I were to pick a bank, which I am not doing, I would pick Morgan Stanley just based on what we know, what they've reported. They increased their dividend. They have the buyback. But as far as a manager and everything, the smartest man in the room I always consider to be Jamie Dimon. So if you want to go with that logic, you can pick JP Morgan. But for me, I think the level for JP Morgan is going to be $100. You can zoom back out here for a little bit. We do have that. Remember what I was saying? Like, sometimes these hard, and the funny thing is, during his conference call today, I remember Jamie Dimon was like, well, we could have a soft or a hard landing, right? So if you're going to have a hard or a soft landing, it's always nice to land. I'm sorry, the chart doesn't go back any more than this, but this is a nice little mattress, as I was going to say, to land on, because you have about a $10 worth of room here that goes back and forth. So I feel like, it's a fluffy little mattress down here, maybe a Casper or something like that you can land into. So I feel like JP Morgan is down here around 100. And if you like the bank name, I think you can't go wrong buying that name at that price.
Mention this quickly as well. BAC just popped up on volume on this note. The Office of the Controller of the Currency finding, so it's OPP, I think. I'll double check on that. But finding the bank $125 million for unsafe and unsound practices. around prepaid credit card programs, I guess. So that's BAC. Remember, Monday pre-market for BAC, but 125 million is not a heck of a lot. Chips were leading initially this morning in the pre-market anyways. They did kind of stall out a little bit, but trying to lead anyways this afternoon, along with, as you saw there, Apple really, really strong. But all these chip makers looking pretty good.
Yeah, and I had one level on Intel, and then of course, after I finally stop out at 37 on Intel, you're going to tell me the votes coming through on the chips. But like that's essentially what I've been saying is the catalyst, potential catalyst for Intel. It is what it is, man. I'm not in the long, and I should be probably around here. And if we dip, I guess I'll look at that 37 level. I thought when TSM came with their note, one of the things that they said in there was they believe there was a slowdown in the foundry play, and there could be some lack of growth there. And I thought that would weigh negatively on Intel today. So if I was going to fade something as it popped back up, it was going to be that one, whereas I thought there'd be some opportunities for longs elsewhere. Intel was working, and then it just continued to trend upside. I think at this point, whether they actually get that vote or not, you've broken back up, and you're looking at this 37. I'll go to the 15-minute chart because it's just a little bit more clean here to see what we're working with here. So you're breaking back above that 37. You've reestablished that as a support level. As you can clearly see here, on the 15, you do have some resistance up at 37, 75, 80 or so. So if we start to roll over, yeah, there's possibly a short in there. I like a couple of other things short. I mean, there's a small cap I like. We'll talk about BABA maybe at some point because that news came out. I like BABA to short on pops because it has a particular catalyst as well. GameStop we'll talk about. But there are some chip names. Micron at 60 I like. Intel right up here for a bit of a curl. It almost feels like it's too obvious not to take a shot at it. But that 37 eventually had to give up the ghost. And look, it's just such a great reversal. It looks on that chart like all you had to do was be long. Like the second I got out of the short, all you had to do was be long in Intel. So it's kind of a frustrating. It's been a frustrating. We'll get to NVAX, but it's been a frustrating day for me, particularly on NVAX. I just got into Meta. That's down 3.5% as the market is booming and trying to get back into green. Although it's a slim chance it goes green according to Trader Brad. And we're like 0.05 away on the NASDAQ.
No, he called that it was going to go green.
Well, I thought he said it was.
No, but that was why I was mocking him.
Oh,
it's
no,
like
okay. I said
it was
wrong.
0.4 away, and he's like, big prediction coming.
Yeah,
anyways.
it was a bold call at point. Yeah, my bad. But either way, like we're about to go green.
Yep.
Meta's down still
Market
about 3% or so,
right now.
and I'm watching that one off of like a 158.5 level. So I'll give this one some room. It's been relatively weak. It's difficult to short these tops, but there are some resistance levels coming in. Probably the lower hanging fruit is going to be like a GME or an Alibaba. Both of those have news.
I mean, there we go. The market does go green, and that's what it is, right? I mean, that's not a rocket science call. It's just a great one because the market is up, and I think that you could have told 10 times out of 10 there that the market was going to go green because Apple is absolutely screaming, and you guys know as a percentage of all the markets here, Apple is the big dog, and if that's going to keep going upside there with really no catalyst, honestly, it's just people want to buy Apple. It's been a missed opportunity. There's so much money on the sidelines right now that Apple continues to get bought every single day, and until there is that dramatic flush, and if there is, I'm not even shorting Apple. There's other names, Amazon, which I'm in right now, got to discuss. We're going to give back a little bit of money here if we take down this 110.20 rate here. So we're getting close to that. We just took a last average. We've been scalping this out like down here, but this last movement right now is going to be the widowmaker here, I believe, for Amazon because this market continues to go to the upside. Remember, the reason why I'm shorting this, and I could. Whatever. I mean, I could be wrong every once in a while. Let me at least be that. Today, we don't have any red names on. Well, we have one red name, Meta, but that I don't even think like that was a bad call. But we could be red. Well, we won't be red on Amazon no matter what today. But I am looking at that 110.20. Not no matter what. I mean, I could get carried away, but this position won't get me green here on Amazon. So it won't get me red, sorry, on Amazon. We were short early. We had that big one, and that's where it is 111. So. That's why we do have potential to get back up to that 111 area here on Amazon. So yeah, boom to the downside. Look at this, 111 short. We don't even start taking profits till 110. So that's $1. Then that's $1.50. Then, I mean, let's just call it what it is right now. So there we go. So now when we get out of Amazon, we just go, whatever, man, fry it up a little bit. And we are now out of that Amazon. Well, I have a small position left. I might as well just get out of the rest of it here at 115 or whatever. But there it is, out of the rest of it there. So, you know, when you're shorting up here 109.90, something like that, and getting out at 110.20, you know, is it going to be a 30-cent hit? Yes, but definitely able to absorb that in the good old net thing here. But it's a nice move up for Amazon. And I will short this again, I feel like, if we get up to that 111. But let's let this market try to calm down. It's a big-time movement up, man. Oil was also down today. And you can see oil's starting to go back to the upside right now. With the close in just 10 minutes, obviously this is not as dramatic as the rest of them. But oil with a nice little move to the upside could close green as well if we do get that last second push, Brendan. So some nice movement here in the equity markets. The S&P's actually almost back as well, only down half.
Yeah, on its way. 91 up to 96 for crude oil today from the bottom. Crazy move back higher for that as well. I even noticed this one trying to get going back to the upside here. Unity, guys, still down 0.8, but a little uptick there for Unity as well. Was a decent flush out of the open this morning as we had another downgrade. Piper Sandler getting on the back of Unity as well after the huge move downside yesterday on that deal for Iron Source. But it looks like this 32.33 is starting to hold a bit.
Actually, the second you said Unity is starting to get up there, I'm like, oh, really? I went to see if it was anywhere near my offer. Saw that offer was still $2 away, or $1, not $2 away, about $1 and change away. And I went ahead and canceled it because that's not really that much of a bounce. So Unity's still in the doghouse. I still think it's pretty much headed to, if you go back, like you can see this higher low that it put in at 31.65. With the market booming the way it is today, I think we're headed back toward the low from May. Like that May low, it broke $30. I think this is probably just trending down toward 30 after the deal was done. I bet you that the company they're buying probably just slowly sliding down, doing a little bit of barcoding as well. But it is a bit of an inside day for Unity, and probably because the market caught a bid. Right? Like the market caught a bid, so Unity didn't flush through those lows. It had been the other way around. We'd be probably talking about Unity in the same way we are about NVAX today. But I will just very quickly, because I just put that Meta on as we were talking. Someone's like, "Thank you, Neil, for the shot in the arm in Meta." I guess, right? Like Meta just went right through VWAP. It was about the only stock that I couldn't see through that range, and all of a sudden we just popped right up. Looks like it wants to go. Can't get NVAX. Well, I shouldn't say that.
What does it mean by shot in the arm?
I don't know. I have no idea. Shot in the arm just means like it's like adrenaline, right? Like it wasn't doing anything.
You were short. Oh, but weren't you short?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
That's why I figured like a shot in the arm, like you, like Neil just pierced you.
Well, me getting out at VWAP might have just pushed it up another 10 to 15.
Yeah, well, whatever.
The market's booming. Like that's what's going on
yeah,
here, right?
The market just hit a bang there for the market. I mean, the market's absolutely to the upside right now. We actually just got into Meta again, right now taking down VWAP. We're going to go long on Meta here, just against this 157.50. We'll average into it if we have to, but again, it is a weak name. But we're going to go long Meta right now. See if we can turn our only red stock into a green one here with Meta the rest of the afternoon. We'll see. But we're talking about Unity, man. Unity. We're going to go 4 for 4 on the sticky note. So thanks again for everybody that's been paying attention to that. It's been a good one. There's people retweeting it all over the place. So thank you for that as well. And keep it up, man. It's also on Instagram as well. But here it is. Taiwan semi-long. I mean, do we even want to look at what that's doing? Is that coming up next? No, we don't even have Taiwan semi on there. Okay. Long, 80s. We were. Now it's 83, so that's 1 for 1. Amazon, the short, not good anymore, but definitely we paid out. Amazon's actually, because that last hit, it's not my number one stock, actually. Well, I mean, it's going to be dependent on some positions I have, but Unity is going to be my number one. But Amazon's still up there as well. The Unity short, 32.50. We have 33.50 on that one, and then AMC was a good trade today as well. So if you took these early, I mean, everything changes, man. It's 2.30 right now. We're going to go 4 for 4 on the sticky note as well. Look at Taiwan Semi. Look at this, 81, right? It got to 80.50. We were waiting a little bit lower than that. We talked about why we like the 80 level, but boom, boom, boom in, boom, boom, boom out. And unfortunately, we got out when it dipped below. That's at that time where the 50 period was. We were riding the 50 period. It broke it at that time, and it coincided with 82. But now Taiwan all the way up here to 83. So wow, that just keeps on going. But yeah, Unity. Here's the Unity trade this morning. You're not gonna. I mean, for me, man, that was a good one. Apes have nothing to do with Unity, but we'll hit it anyways, as that's the short right there at the high of the day. Should have reloaded it there. Wasn't sitting here at noon. That would have been a great move. back down to 32 bucks where we already got out. So let's hold Unity as the one short that we have. We have that in PayPal, but PayPal we're going to get out for flat. PayPal was great, man. Out 20, 40, 60, 80% of PayPal. Now we'll get out if it does tick us a little bit higher and put us into a flat position. But Stripe, I don't know if you caught that news there, Brendan, but Stripe came out and actually got not downgraded, but their round of a capital raise, because Stripe is going to come public very, very soon. You may want to get ready to short that. Its last raise was at 40, and its most recent round was at 29. So Stripe, PayPal, Square, all very similar in credit card processing and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, they should have.
Yeah, they should have.
I don't know why they didn't IPO last year or a year and a half ago. Like, if they had Chamath do their IPO, they probably would have came out at about 400 billion, and then right now it would be worth like 2 billion. So they should have had that. They didn't. But we'll see what happens here going out on PayPal.
Yeah, I did see that. Down round, I believe is the term. Get used to that, because there's probably going to be a ton of them in the near future here. So let's go to NVAX. This was yesterday on NVAX. The FDA gives them emergency use authorization for their COVID-19 vaccine. I mean, this is minor. It came out this morning. They added some severe allergy and side effects to the EMA notice, but this was yesterday. And then obviously NVAX falls, what is it now, $12 to the downside today?
So anyways, I absolutely challenge you, anybody out there, to have a worse execution than mine on NVAX today. Before the open, all I said was sell the news. Every single time this type of thing happened during COVID, on the way up, you'd get that sort of rally. And NVAX had a decent one, like a rally into the expectation that you're going to get the approval, and then the day that it comes, it's like a sell the news event. And on the 15, you're going to see the recent floor that it had at 67. I'm like, yeah, you just short the 67 level. I got into it, and to make it even worse, the 15 makes it look better than it is. I was actually short here at 9.15. It ran down in the money, $2. Didn't take anything out because I thought we're really going to flush, and then I rolled back into more on this little bit of a pop, only to still get stopped out. Now here's the thing. I said I was going to stop it at 68. I really did not think we were going to take that high out. Recently, all the big flushers have not been really running those stops. Like, you get in the pre-market or you don't get it at all, because there hasn't been the pop and fade. And of course, today, that's exactly what it does. It drops a gajillion dollars all the way down to 50.
Many?
Yeah, a gajillion.
Wow,
it's you know what? A gajillion.
Shorted it.
Big technical number. No,
no, it's not just technical, it's precise.
Precise. Well, yeah, Brendan said it dropped $12, down to $50. And at this point, look, I am long off the 50 level because it's 50. Like, it's not really a revenge trade. Anything that did this, whether I liked it short or not, I'd probably be testing the 50 bounce, which at least for the time being has a chance to get me back to green on the stock. But admittedly, I like the short a heck of a lot more than I like the long down here. It's just, these things are going to happen to you. It's probably one of the more frustrating trades that I think I will ever put on and have happen. But it is what it is, and we try to say that. You got to be able to move on. If the market tries to go here, I think it has a decent chance. If we can break out from this 51, I'll zoom in a little bit. If we can break out from this 51, I have one more offer to try and get out here in the bottom of this range. I could see like 52.5. It just doesn't feel like this stock has the juice for any kind of VWAP, bounce. Like, I've seen that happen before, where you can get a bounce off of VWAP for a stock that's down this much, but it doesn't feel like it has that kind of juice. Like, this is more of a scalp trade. It's good because the risk is to 50 even, but I don't think there's a $4 or $5 winner in this thing, at least not today. And of course, as I complain about it, I actually get the fill at 51.50. So I will hit something that's like, I don't know, I'll hit this one. Because I don't feel right celebrating NVAX today. I really don't. Even if this could go to VWAP, and I still wouldn't be all that happy with it. I was short at 67 and I lost, and the stock went to 50. It's kind of hard to say that, to be honest with you.
Well, hey, I mean, that's what we're doing here. I mean, that's the best part about the show, is that we're trying to be honest with our mistakes and honest with some of the ideas that maybe we were wrong on, or some of the execution errors that we've had and stuff like that. I mean, and that's just what it's going to be. Stock. I mean, there's realistically, and I said this before to Fahad and Lucas, it's like I really feel like so blessed to be able to call this a job. I mean, I've been doing this for 21 years, and my kid is going through all these interviews and everything. And you know what? I was like, I had one interview, man. And basically, not my whole life. I was doing different things as I was in school, but then I started here on a prop firm with Day Trade the World as soon as I graduated, and I took a job getting absolutely no pay. They don't teach you, as you guys know, absolutely anything about the stock market in school. I graduated with a finance degree, and Still nothing about the stock market other than a little bit about investing. But trading, you got to learn on your own, right? And that's what the awesome thing is about what we're doing. And that's kind of what sparked this idea is that there's really no information out there, at least what I could find, any good information anyways, about how to properly trade and how to use your risk, especially if you are on a prop floor trading, on a margin account or whatever you guys happen to be doing, someone else's buying power or whatever. So I had to learn myself, and it's been obviously 21 years later, and I've worn definitely many, many hats with this business, and now I'm wearing this one, and I can't be happier because I get to sit here, put through some trades, make that cash. And if Leroy Jenkins, if you're here right now still, I am going to, when we come back from what we're doing next, I will talk about, risk versus reward and losing days versus winning days, how to properly put those, into perspective and whatnot. But definitely feel blessed to be here, to be able to talk to you guys every single day, trade, and show you what we're doing. So, on that note, let's throw it back over to Mr. Brendan Wickens.
All right, the mention of the word recession continues to grow, not only in repetition, but also in volume. A lot more people talking about recession, a lot more people getting worried about the impending recession. Let's talk about trading, shall we? Because we're going to give you a few ideas, guys, in this video on how you can not only still profit from trading during a recession, but hey, maybe even make it better than it normally would be. And that is trading ideas during a recession. Let's go.
Yeah, so when you talk about like a recession, you're thinking about outsized moves, right? Like how do you take advantage of the increased volatility, whether it's to the upside or to the downside? And I think, we've said a few things before, and I'll kind of double down on one of those. One of those is, resistance matters more than support. I think that's one of the first things you throw out there. And then try to trade stocks that have shown you that they have these ridiculous outsized volatility type moves. And I'm going to go to something like an Alibaba today. Now, it had a news catalyst, but what I want to show you here is when you have a sharp move to the downside, when you're in a recession, by the time you get to it, you will have had a usually large pullback in the market like we've already seen. So the bounces to the upside will be dramatic, and that means you will have you'll have the range open up when you have a bit of a breakout. And the example here is something like a BOVESPA, which, and this is more to the 50 period and the 200 than might be specifically to the stock. But when it broke the 50 period on its bounce, it went 95 up to like 126, like a $30 move, a nice 30% move to the upside plus on a stock. But it's only a 30% move because the stock is already down, a good 60-70% from its highs, right? It sounds impressive, but in the grand scope of things, it really isn't. What you end up happening is a retracement all the way back to the 50, and then back into the 200, and then back into the 50. Look at the size of these ranges. So an incredible amount of patience and a stock which is giving you these types of opportunities. If you throw on top of that you also get you get its own catalyst. BOVESPA is not tied specifically to what is going on in the overall market. Usually it's going to react to news that comes out of the CCP, which gives you a little bit of a, I don't want to say you don't have to sit there and watch the futures all day long when you trade the stock. And I think sometimes that can be a bit of an advantage. So you take advantage of these types of trends when we get a rejection like this, because for several days in a row, it's just been a short. It's like you can short off those highs, you roll over off the bottom there on Alibaba and play that little bit of a trend. It ends up bouncing off something like that 100 because you got that 50 period moving average, and then you're shorting the pops as it continues that trend and then going maybe long off that 50 period. So find something that is giving you outsized moves that on the daily chart is showing you some very obvious responses to your key trend lines, and that'll give you just a wider range of opportunity so that you're not forcing trades. Like you're actually waiting for monstrous levels to come in. And I feel, and it doesn't have to be BOVESPA, it could be NEO, it could be Pinduoduo. I just think the entire Chinese sector has been giving you that recently.
All right, yeah, that's great. Definitely looked at different markets, looked at different sectors, looked at different everything as far as recession. But recession really, when this guy comes out and the market turns a little bearish, then you are going to have a problem trying to find some winning stocks, especially if you're just going to sit there and keep doing the same thing that you were doing maybe during a bull run. Obviously, times have changed and things are different now in this market. So what I would say that you want to try to find, and that is go to a flight, and we talked about this with the banks. I think the banks are a little bit of a different story. But why not go to a tech name? Like, think about what's going to recover, because when there's a recession, the market just booms when there's finally recovery, because that's what's brought down. The market has come back down in, right? So when there's a recession, you want to be long something for the recovery play. Now, I'm going to say, why not hide in IBM, man? International buyback machine. I mean, these guys have been an absolute monster. They're actually doing nothing over the last 10 years or so. I think you can get into IBM. You know the dividend that IBM pays here? Why don't we show the chart here, Fahad, if we can, please? Then the IBM chart here, look at this. I mean, we've been yelling recession here for at least a couple months, right? IBM is actually at the same levels that you go all the way back to October of 2021. So you're going to honestly go back almost, and I can even do this more here. I just didn't want the chart. I mean, here we go. All the way back to August. So go back a year. Where's IBM? 143, right? Where's IBM today? 139. If you hung out in IBM over the last little while, you'd be pretty grateful, because not only has your equity not been depreciated, you've gained that 5% dividend. So why I like IBM again, I believe that it's a tech name that I think will be strong out of the gate, right? And what you can do is, the minute the recession, you feel like, you're reading things, okay, recession's over, so on and so forth, then at that point, you can switch from your IBM into a Google, into something that's going to go when the market goes, right? When growth is back, when you finally see that CPI number tick down, not up, then you can rotate out. But I feel like the topic here is about what to do, how to trade during recession, and what are some ideas. I'm in IBM. I think if you could buy an IBM on any dips, that's the right move here. Take the dividend, take the 5%, rotate out of it when you finally feel that this recession is maybe over or we're climbing out of it. I love IBM here. It's been one of those hidden gems, and it's been really bad for the last 5 to 10 years, right? Intel, same thing. Intel's been absolutely dead money for 15 years, but it's lower than where it was 15 years ago, right? IBM paying a big dividend, a nice name, nice recovery stock. Needless to say, I like IBM.
Safety matters in these times. Recession is going to bring uncertainty. Uncertainty brings increased volatility, increased volume, and all kinds of opportunities. Guys, they're everywhere right now. This is the time to take advantage, not necessarily be afraid of the market. There's some great ideas for trading during a recession. I want to mention quickly, guys, in about 5 minutes or so, Danielle Shea is back with us from Simpler Trading. She's going to talk through what has happened today with JP Morgan and MS, what to expect coming up with the rest of the bank earnings. And we're going to talk about Tesla, because, hey, guess what? Tesla earnings are next Wednesday.
Yeah, Tesla earnings, that'll be spicy, obviously. Today was the first day of trading of the single stock ETF. I don't know if there are any other ones other than.
No, let's ask Danielle Shea maybe about that.
Yeah, maybe we'll ask her, but for sure, definitely we'll ask her about that. I think, but Tesla. Now I'm forgetting what the damn symbol is, but Tesla did.
Isn't there an L at the end, or
is it Q? TSLAQ? I don't know. Well, you can look it up there. But single stock leveraged ETFs coming live. The SEC approved them. Tesla had theirs today. I'll add it to my quote board at some point. But it's kind of been a bit of a nothing burger. I want to go over a couple things. First, I'll start with Nvidia, because that actually took out that high. I'll show you on the 15, Nvidia taking out that 154 high. My trades, for whatever reason, aren't showing, but pretty much every single day we've been short in front of this level. And the last time you take it, a lot of times we're going to break out at some point, right? Like, you get a good resistance level. At some point it breaks out, so we'll take the L on Nvidia at this point. Somehow, though, I shouldn't say somehow. Alibaba, there was a news article, like, it's that dip in Baba that you see right here. Alibaba. I almost said Baba.
I think you did. I was going to call you out,
Baba?
but you corrected. You did, but that's fine.
My bad. Ian gets the best of me. He says Baba all the time. So you had this huge drop down there on that article. Essentially, it was it would have been in the Wall Street Journal. Executives called in by the Chinese authorities investigating a historic data heist. And this is what happened in Alibaba. Oh, for the love of... In Alibaba. So you had a big drop from 106 down into 100. I did short a pop into 103. That was looking pretty solid. It got like $1 on it. Then it stopped out. I then shorted off of 105 at VWAP. That was good. And I'm back in as it's playing this little trend, short in front of 104. So, this feels like it's got news behind it why it's down the 5%. But even this is catching a bit of a bid here. So Alibaba trying to get back into the upside. We'll see what can happen with it. I just got out of NVAX, and I was just saying, like, yeah, I don't know if it's got to run back into VWAP, and I'll be happy if it gets back up here to this consolidation at 53. Well, guess what? It did. So lo and behold, somehow I was able to salvage NVAX going long on it. Don't cry over spilt milk. Just go back. Just go to the next trade. Like I'm telling you, like you feel sick to your stomach being long a stock at 50 that you lost short at 67 on. Like it does. There's nothing about that actually feels good because all you're saying to yourself is like, I want to be in the short. I want to be in the short. And I actually should have chased this a little bit more. Like I don't know that I would have taken it at 59 because I would have been waiting for a 60 level. But certainly here when it rolled over at 55, like that little breakdown here about 54.5, risking up to 55, probably could have been an entry for me. But I'm just going to get out of NVAX. I might not trade it again today unless there's an opportunity to short it at that 55 level. That could be in play for me here on NVAX. But I'll take the money and run on NVAX. We'll see what happens with this bob. And I do still have one stock not from the morning. We traded this actually in the morning, but I got back into it just now. And that's this Tbph. Just another one of these small cap, low floaters. It was on our watch list. Look, I don't know. They said they're selling some royalty interest, yada, yada, yada. But it was a pure sell-off event off the open at $10. It got all the way down to $7.60. I had covered by $8.50. That was my target for the bottom. And when it bounced back up, I just wanted to see it fail that same range. And then I want to short it off of this level here, right around that 850 into VWAP. And the reason for that, same reason it was my target. If you go to the daily or even better, the 15, you can see the consolidation it's had right around that 850 level. So once it recovered to that, that's where I wanted to be shorting from. So shorted that cluster here, right around that $10 level, and then this cluster as it's continued to sell the news on that Tbph. So those are two things I'm in, Alibaba and Tbph, and maybe I'll be in to some Novavax if it gets 55.
TSLAQ is the one. That's it. So TSLAQ. They don't even have it. I don't even know if they have it on eSignal. I'm trying to call it up. I don't think we can trade it yet either on our system. But you know what? It don't even matter because I'm here. Meta. There's the long on Meta. 158.50 out 159. We take 50 cents on the first half. Now we'll see if we can go a little bit higher here on Meta as we take that long on META Meta against that bottom. But it's not really even against that bottom. We're not going to hold this for that long. It's just a nice little move to the upside here for Meta. I'm thinking right now, this market is pulling back a little bit. We do have that high. I'm going to step into Amazon one more time. Amazon's been a monster trade for me today. As you guys know, we had that 111 short earlier, bang that all the way down to 108 and change. We were shorting here and got out, but let's go again on that short against that 111, right? I mean, we have 110 here, trying to print out again. I can't believe I just didn't get that short there. We are on the offer to get it, so if a pip pops in, we'll take that. I'm going to do it against that high of the day. There's no way Amazon deserved to even get up here off the open, but we were lucky enough to be sitting there to take that short into 111, 112. So I'm going to dare it to take that out again. 111.20, okay? So let's get the short. I feel like we need to trade back down here, 109.50, 109.60 on Amazon. So we will look at that. Now, I mentioned about Leroy Jenkins here. He asked about, what is your daily risk versus, and I forget the question, Leroy. If you're on there he is. He's right here as well. What I was going to get at was this. In June, there was 22 trading days. I went back, looked at the broker account. Look, we've decided not to show them. All right. I mean, we don't want to be known for how much money we make or anything like that. We want to be known for education. You guys see all the trades that I'm doing, and I'm telling you, there's no more. I don't know. Maybe there's someone on it more honest than me about trading, but I'm going to tell you that we're all trying to be as honest as we can. And by the word try, I mean I am. Look, out of 22 days in June, right? I was red 5 of them. Okay. My worst red day in June was a third of my best day. Okay, so if I made $3,000 on my best day, my worst day was minus 1,000, okay? Then you add in there 17 positive days, including a 13-day winning streak. Now, the thing about those winning streaks are, as you get better and you're starting to put things, damn you, Amazon, as you're coming back in. As you start, yeah, Sharif, that's it. I hear this guy in the background talking about that one because I still should be short Amazon right now. But as you're getting, like, as I'm on a 5-day winning streak, what do you think I'm doing the 6th day, right? You up your shares. So that's how it works for me. And it's like the more aggressive that I get with trading, right? It's just the profits just keep flowing in. So, you know, you gotta trade accordingly. Your question was, how bad are your bad days, I feel like, against your good days? Well, there it was. It was 3-1 in the month of June. I can't go on. My shutdown never gets hit. I never really hit my shutdown. You saw me the other day take a 20% drawdown against my daily loss limit on Microsoft. That was a bad day. That was on Monday. You know what I did? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all positive days. And now I've made double in those 3 days what I lost on Monday. So, you know, it's just like, have your losses under control and let your winners ride when you're hot fire, right? So that's what we're talking about for June. And in July, I'll do the same work for you. I mean, there's been about what? 8 or 9 trading days. I'm probably 7-2, 6-3, something like that. So again, you know, the market has to be there for you, and if you're trading the right names and you've got Amazon, and you're pretty hot on your trading, up your shares, and the rest will just take care of itself. So, Leroy, you can message me or PM me or anything on Twitter if you had more specific questions. But we do choose on the show not to be known for our nets because, you know, some of our nets are much different than others, different on different days, and we don't want that, and you guys should know why. We've discussed that a bunch of different times. So that is that, and I hope I answered that okay for you. Meanwhile, we did take another meta bid down here at 158, so this is the only red name that we have on the board today. Apple, AMC, Amazon, GoEV is green today. We traded a little bit of Luckin Coffee, that's green today. Meta is red. PayPal's green today. Roblox is green today, including a 50-cent winner right now for Roblox. Taiwan Semi is green today. Unity, green today. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 names, and we're 9-1. So, but Meta, definitely the only red name. It looks like we might get even redder on this name if I continue to hold this long.
So one of the things that you should always consider about when you're trading is like, what are your actual goals, right? Like some traders do it because like you have a side job. Let's say you have a full-time job, maybe you trade the mornings, and this trade is on the West Coast, and they do that sort of same thing as well. And so if you have that amount of income that you want to make out of it, fine, that's fair enough. But if it is your actual job, then, you know, over the course of your career, the question becomes, and I look at things in quarters and years. I really, as a person, as a trader, I ceased caring about how much I make in a day or looking at it or ever measuring it by that like 15 years ago. I always look at it at the course of each year. Did I make my primary income? Was it from my trading or was it for something else? And I think if you're able to do that, then that makes sense. And if you're not, then a lot of times that's where you have to have a secondary job, which is absolutely fine. I'll tell you this right now. I know traders who they have a side gig and it's like it supplements their income. And they do fantastic that way too. There are a million ways that you can become a trader. You need to be consistently profitable. The amount you need to make survive, that's up to you. Certainly, I'm just going to go to Bob in a quick second here, but. The ES, we talked about, I kind of yelled out, I didn't yell it, I said 3,800 was coming on the ES there. We have once again rejected 3,800, a wick off top. So this little pullback that happened, I'd love to be able to tell you, ooh, I got on an NVAX and it was a perfect time. I got in a Bob, it was a perfect time. Nah, the ES just bounced off 3,800 and some of these things are starting to come back into the downside. So that's been a huge level for the S&P 500, that 38. If we get above that price, hey, then things can get really jiggy. Like the ES is still red on the day. You know, obviously the NASDAQ maybe could be testing those highs, but that ES 3800, it's been a bit of an issue. You know, every single time we've gotten there, regardless of how strong that day has been, we've had some kind of a pullback. So if we completely reject it, your shorts are good. If we break out, I don't expect I'll still be in this Alibaba long, for long if we break 38 on the ES.
All right, as you guys can see here, we just took another, we finally went back into the money on Meta, so we take a whopping 10 cents on a little piece of that. We're gonna hold for a lot more here on Meta, but just in case the market doesn't hold up past this 50 period, I think our out for Meta could just be this 158 break, man. I mean, we don't, like I said, into power hour here, we're gonna go live with Danielle, Shea in a couple seconds. I just, you know, if we break down through 158, like I said, let's just go 9-1, chalk out Meta as a down stock today, and look elsewhere. So Meta breaks this 158, sort of wick bottom. Like I said, you can give it a few more pennies to the downside, but 158 or so should be your target there for Meta on the short. But yes, sir, Mr. Brendan Wickens is ready with our guest of the day.
All right, after some much-deserved time off, we're thrilled to have Danielle Shea, VP of Options, back with us from Simpler Trading. So good to see you.
So good to see you.
How was your time off?
It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Any fun stories? Where did you go? What did you see?
So I went to Seattle, and I was staying in the San Juans. I went crabbing. I did a bunch of fireworks. It was amazing.
Wow, great to have you back. Let's talk about the market. As we, try to get back to the upside here. We're still negative on the day, obviously, but a number of different things that have happened, obviously, this week with the CPI. We can get into that in a sec. I want to talk about bank earnings here because JP Morgan, MS out this morning, both miss. If you traded it, how did that go? Obviously, we have to look ahead now. We have more tomorrow morning, more on Monday morning. What are you doing with the banks?
So looking at the banks, I was pretty bearish going into bank earnings just because of the fact that, the last two quarters, they were both pretty, JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. You had Morgan Stanley trade higher, but then it just immediately fell, which is bearish. And then you had JP Morgan experience bigger moves than what we've experienced over the course of the past 8 quarters in the last 2 quarters. So I was bearish on both of those. Now that those have come out, that definitely puts a little bit more of a bearish tone on the market next week, in addition to the rest of bank earnings. So, I think it just makes sense to continue going on in the downtrend with XLF.
If you had to pick, maybe, obviously WFC, we get Goldman, we get Citigroup tomorrow morning. If you have to pick maybe one or two of those, which one are you going to focus on?
WFC has always been a little bit on the negative side. I would consider that to be more of a relative weakness name, even in the good times. So I would focus on that one a little bit more to the downside. Goldman Sachs is a really interesting case because Goldman Sachs had a lot of strength over the course of the past couple of years. So even though I like the banks to the downside, I'd probably be a little bit more cautious with that one. But you know what the thing about Goldman Sachs is that more people look at it. So what I would do with Goldman Sachs is I would wait until after earnings because there's probably going to be a big momentum move. And then I would jump on it at that point because of all the attention that it's going to get. Banks
kick things off as far as this earnings season is concerned, but we all know how much you love Tesla, Danielle. Let's talk about what's to come next week. Wednesday after the close, in fact, we get Tesla earnings. Elon, Twitter stuff aside, Elon has kind of given some hints, at least along the way through this quarter, that it may not be the greatest. What do you think here as far as Tesla is concerned?
So, I love Tesla on the long term. I think I've talked about Tesla all the time, but the problem is I don't think it's looking good for them this quarter at all. Whenever you have your CEO come out and, equate your factories to a literal dumpster fire, it's never a good thing, right? If you look at the way that Tesla traded on earnings last quarter, they had a fantastic earnings report. It traded up higher by 10% and it rolled over and it's been falling pretty much ever since, with the exception of a couple different short squeezes. So I think you have to be really careful when you're trying to short Tesla. I have been short Tesla the past couple of weeks, and it's been a little bit of a wild ride. I've been trying to target 600, but I've only gotten it down to 650 so far. I think that post earnings, we're going to see Tesla trade down to 600, but I'm going to use that as an excuse to pick up more long-term shares because the weakness isn't going to last forever.
Is there something maybe you need to see in the report or hear in the report or maybe hear from Elon himself that would turn that? As you said, it's been very negative over the past, 3 months at least. What do we need to hear? Is it that deliveries are coming? Is it that more production is coming? As you said, I think it was a furnace lighting money on fire is all of these gigafactories right now. So is there something that you're looking for?
So, the semiconductor shortage has been droning on for what seems like forever, but that is a really important factor because that is the number one factor that he noted. He said that, hey, we've got these factories, we've spent all this money, we don't have debt, but we can't make cars if we don't have semiconductors. So that's an issue. But what I'm also really interested to hear is, he was, I would argue, one of the first CEOs to come out and start to say, hey, you know what? I'm cutting the workforce. I see a downtrend. I'm planning ahead for this. And so I'm really interested to see how they've been managing that and what that's going to look like going forward, because I do think that he's been ahead of the game. And I do think that he's going to manage it well. So I think especially comparatively to other tech stocks, perhaps, they're going to be able to ride out the storm, but I want to hear about their plan for doing that.
All right, let's shift gears here a little bit. Talk about energy. Oil, I just double checked, $40 off its highs from March as of the lows today. Obviously a big bounce going into the close of the pit session here, but I mean, huge, wild, volatile swings over the past couple of days in the past week or so. In the energy sector, I mean, 100 seems to be a sticking point. That 95 to 100 range seems to be a sticking point. From an options standpoint, is there a trade here right now?
I mean, the thing about energy is energy was, of course, the relative strength sector. And it was one of the main reasons why the S&P wasn't falling as hard as the NASDAQ all year, right? Because, I mean, you still had staples, you still had energy holding up. But the problem with energy right now is energy has shifted into a downtrend. I don't think that crude is going to just completely fall apart. I mean, it's been doing a really good job holding up, especially above the $90 price point. As long as crude can stay above 90, I think that it's fine to look for some trades in USO in particular. But if crude's going to break below 90, I think we can short it. XLE has already broken down. Crude's holding up a little bit better. XLE is probably one of the only sectors I really haven't focused on to the short side. And now that it's falling apart, we're in a downtrend.
And which is a good lead in, I guess, to the overall economy here on the inflation trade. I mean, we got to get your take here for the overall market after that CPI number comes, much hotter than expected. 9.1, a 40-year high. We saw all the headlines going back a couple of days ago. 26 and 27 is going to be the next Fed decision. I mean, you've been banging the drum on the short side all year long. Do we continue at this point?
I think that we do, because I think that next week, just like what happened with JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley today, I think that we're just going to continue to see more bad news coming out from just a variety of different industry groups. I mean, yes, oil prices have come down. That's true. But when you look at the transportation costs that so many different companies and so many different sectors had to deal with last quarter, in addition to the supply chain shortages and Russia and Ukraine droning on, there's just so many issues. Then you have the rising dollar. I mean, I think that we're going to continue to see more bad news than good news. I think the one exception is just the fact that everyone is bearish and the put call is so high. There's no doubt in my mind there's going to be short squeeze days. Like, yesterday we were seeing Tesla rallying $50. There's going to be days like that for sure, and we can look out for them when the market gaps up big on the open. But for the most part, I just want to focus on the downward trend, at least until we get through earnings and the next Fed decision.
Hey, Danielle, great to have you back, and thank you for coming. I know that we try to plan this every Thursday, but maybe any more vacations planned so our viewers can know maybe, if you're going to be taking any more time off anytime soon?
Well, Sean, funny that you ask, because I'm actually pregnant. So
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So you're going to have me for another, 2-3 months, and I'll take a little bit of a break, but you have me until then.
Wow, congratulations. Yeah, you're glowing. So I guess that makes a lot of sense right there. That's awesome. Hey, well, maybe there's someone else that we could talk options with in your absence. That would be absolutely fantastic. We'll talk about that off the show. No one can replace you, obviously, right? So, all right, let's move on off that before I get in trouble. All right, one strategy. See, now all these jokers behind us are all like, aw. Yeah. Slow down, boys. Okay, quickly here. We just did a little bit of a thing on IBM and sort of where to run if there is a recession coming. I said that basically IBM is pretty dead stock over the last 10 years or so, but they do have that 5% dividend. So, if you were to hide somewhere, I'm thinking about an IBM. Now, from an option side of things, if you are expecting sort of sideways movement, and then I have the daily up here on IBM, we can go to the screen, maybe give you a chance to call it up for yourself if you wanted to, but you don't have very many moves here in IBM. I mean, you can go all the way back to October. I mean, even go back a year, and you're at the same price you're at now, if you go back to a year from now. back in July. Look at this, 140 back in July, and today you're at 139. So what I was thinking about, what about writing options on a name like this? Because if it's a recession, you're like, you know what, I don't want to put anything into the underlying equity, but I don't mind collecting a little bit premiums as the market kind of figures itself out, because I don't feel like IBM's going anywhere. Is that something that maybe you suggest to some people that you trade with?
You know what? It's so funny that you bring up IBM, because one of the traders on our team, Sam Shames, just 3 or 4 days ago, he said to me, you know what? My IBM strategy is going so great. He told me that he's been regularly just selling puts on IBM, picking up the shares, and then selling calls. So number one, when you're selling the puts, you can sell puts, and since it doesn't really move that much, you know, you're picking up some premium there. And then if you're selling them with the intention of picking up the stock, what that does is it gets you into the stock at a cheaper price. So you can A, sell puts to pick up the premium. B, you can sell puts to get into the stock at a cheaper price. Then once you have the stock, you can collect the dividends. And on top of that, once you have the stock, you can sell covered calls. So it's so funny that you picked that exact same name, because I was just talking to one of my colleagues about that exact strategy on this ticker.
Yeah, no, it's one of those obvious ones. I feel like we talk about it all the time, as far as, you know, stocks that don't really move and where people are like really looking to sort of pick up some premium and do something like that. So I do like IBM. Was there any other name that maybe fits in the same kind of realm as that? Or, I don't mean to put you on the spot. If we can't think of one, maybe we'll get one next week, because I don't think this recession talk is going anywhere. But was there another name similar to IBM if traders wanted to do something like that, but maybe on a different name that you can think of?
Yeah, of course. So I was actually just on CNBC an hour or so ago, and we were talking about Tractor Supply, United Healthcare. These two companies are a little bit different because they're trading higher versus just trading sideways. They don't have as much of a dividend, but what they do have is they have an increasing dividend. Plus, they have the fact that they've been really strong on earnings and they're continuing to trade higher. So when you're looking at, you know, not just being able to capture a dividend, you're also looking at trying to get into a name that is continuing to be strong in this market environment. So ideally, you know, you can capitalize on not just the options, but you can also capitalize on the increase in the stock price.
Ms. Danielle Shea, VP of Options at Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for coming through one more time for us. And again, a big congratulations to you and your family. I mean, that's the best news anyone can receive. So good luck with everything. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for talking options with us as well. And I'm sorry you mentioned that you're on another channel. I've never heard of that before. So good luck with that one, and we'll go on from there. So Ms. Danielle Shea, Simpler Trading, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Love that UNH, by the way.
I'm gonna Google whatever that station was that she mentioned, because I'm not
You
sure
never
about
heard
it.
of it before?
I don't know. I don't even remember what it was.
They
so I'll
had
have
this
to
real
look back.
cool segment thing years ago with Icon and Ackman that I really loved.
Oh yeah, something off. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll think about it at some point. But
We'll remember it.
for all the traders out there, man, I mean, that's why we have Danielle Shea on, because, and I know someone put in the chat.
Someone put in the chat, why don't we talk about options? My response in the chat was,
exactly.
I'm not an options trader. You don't want me. I don't have the experience to be giving you options advice. I trade equities, and we've been trade equities, been doing it for years. So that's why we bring Danielle on. And if we can find somebody in her stead, I don't even know if we can, that'll have that kind of expertise. We'd love to. I mean, she's been fantastic for us, and that's why we bring her on here for you guys, so that you're able to get that kind of experience.
I think we should just pry her away from there and then have her sit right here and do options with us every single day. So that could be interesting, but she's a down south kind of girl. We already talked about that. Yeah, Texas. What up? What up?
And a KC fan, which
nobody
in this world is perfect. That's all I got to say. Even Danielle's not perfect, being a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So
amazing. And coming from a Bills fan, of course, we got to put that out there so everybody, you don't
everybody knows I'm a
get
Bills
hammered
fan
here right now. But very, very nice. Thank you so much. And yeah, we are working. We have Frank Caberna that comes on from the Small Exchange for more of a macro side of things. But yeah, someone just put in there maybe commodities. I mean, commodities will be pretty cool as well.
If you know somebody.
Yeah, we always talk about that. And we have to vet them and so on and so forth. But I think it'll be all good. So thank you, Danielle Shea, one more time as we enter Power Hour. So
speaking of which,
yeah, let's go.
While that was going on, I mean, I only have the two positions on. However, what I did get some out of Alibaba. I'm looking at UNH because I just had UNH up when Danielle brought it up there. But that Tbph, like seriously, like I need a nickname for the stock. It just rolled over again. I showed you the higher time frame why I liked the shorts around this 50 to 60 area. It's also why I like getting out of it at that price. We shorted off at 10, but it's starting to roll back over to $8. I think this could be a rinse and repeat on every single pop, at least up until that 50 to 60 range. This could just sort of pay off. Now, 3,800 is still rejecting, so Alibaba.
Good one.
Right? I
He
got
shoots,
it right.
he scores.
Oh, for the love of Alibaba.
For the love
Look at
of
this chart.
Baba.
It's just got like all the holes in it. You can see like I'm short at like 0375 and just got some VWAP there. But I covered some in front of 103. It's just I have gaps in my chart on that one, but my black chart's been fine because I had it up all day. So I just want to see us break down that 103. If we do reject 3,800 on the ES significantly and pull back, I think we can get down into the 102.50 range, and then this can start to pay off a little bit further to the downside. Don't have a heck of a lot that I love short off of these tops, but these are two that I think we can work with. I did want NVAX. I just heard the dump it from the back. Every single time the market moves even like a little bit to the downside, I hear Brankles yell, dump it. We just went down 5 points on the futures. We're not dumping it yet, Brankles, but if we do dump it, then we could see NVAX back to 50. I don't want to short this until I'm thinking about 55 even. I think that's where the sweet spot can be. It's got a bit of a dead cat bounce we're seeing here off of 50 even, but the stock's down 25%. So you want to pick your spots when you're trading this. The range could still be pretty large.
Big shout out here, Ed. You are 100% welcome for all this. Like I said, I'm trading everything for you guys: small caps, large caps, big caps, small caps, ETFs, whatever. Pinky the finger. Oh, maybe I should have said that. Sean, you have a Molson on me. Sure, I'll take a Molson. I actually like Molson Canadian. We'll have some of that. Thanks for the Go EV trade. You are welcome, my friend. That Go EV trade today, obviously we are positive on it, not as much as you, I would imagine, Pinky there, but it was a good trade for me this morning, obviously, and we held it. We just should have averaged in down here. We didn't. But look at that move all the way to the upside. We got out right here when it busted through 30, but it goes up to $5. Wish we still had that. $5 about as easy as a short as you can get there, because I didn't pay for shorts, so for me there was nothing there. But we've already ticked 5 a couple times. There's 5. We actually talked about that, and I think this is what you're talking about there, Pinky, was just that maybe you waited for that 5. I mean, that was a great level. And to be quite honest with you, I said that we'd be as honest as you can. You guys may or may not have heard me curse, because I didn't realize that I had a 30 offer there, and then that was a fill that took me flat. So unfortunately, I did have that fill there. I did want to hold it up to that $5 mark. But again, you know, we had already gotten out of it. We consider ourselves lucky when it came back to flat, to be completely honest with you. So a couple of holds down here. We're positive on the name, so money is money. We talked about that, and there it is. So I did get out there, and the move goes to 5. So yuck for me on that one. But hey, like we always say, man, a positive day and a positive name is a positive name. So you never want to like sort of look at that the wrong way there. So Go EV, a nice little trade to put on there, and thank you Pinky there for that super chat. It does mean a lot to us as well. Okay, just going back, man, we got in and out of Amazon there like crazy when it took out that high, thinking we were going to run to 111, and I put on more shares there. Instead, next time I'm just going to put on more shares and not be afraid of like, oh my god, I have too much for when I get stopped out. I mean, there's some levels that you have to like. I like that 111, I like that 112, and honestly, I really haven't been looking at that. I was just talking obviously with Danielle there. I don't mind this on a 109.80 break, like right into here. Let's break this where we were short. So I think that if not, I think we are going to do it. If Amazon does come back in, because right now you're below the 50 period, I think I like an Apple long as well. But I'm just wondering about, do we want to like bottom pick? This is the question that we always have to ask ourselves, right? And because I can do it all. Like, do I want to bottom pick on a name like an Apple, or do I want to go short on a name like a Amazon and just hope that we can continue the move down, or bottom pick something and try to get the move back to the upside? So, you know, there's always that sort of push and pull when you're trying to think about what to do, because here comes Apple right back into these levels again that I like. Now, we were long Apple, great trade today, long at 144, out at 145, 46, 50, sorry, 250 twice there on that. So we only hold 20%, but at least we wind up getting out for 250 on 20%. But as you can see here, it is back down to VWAP. It has a nice level at 148 right there. That's kind of a breakout level as well. So, you know, this could be a good case for the long. I just canceled my bids, but wondering if that's a good long there. And the same thing for AMD as well. AMD looks a little worse because you are below the 50 period and starting to come back in, but I'm wondering about the same thing down here at 78. Is this an area where we get long here for AMD again? The market's been pretty good today, but that dip off in the morning, like everyone was like, oh my God, here it is, CPI in your face, this and that. And then you get a nice move back to the upside. So I really feel like the NASDAQ's gonna have these volatile moves, and then it's just gonna wait for earnings. Like, we haven't got any NASDAQ names yet. Today we got TSM, which is great for the semis, but not a big holding in any sort of a NASDAQ weighting. So you could see, though, a nice little move up at TSM, which we only went long this name today, so you know where my thinking is, but up to 84 again for TSM, up 3%. So I think I'm just going to play the Amazon short and just think that the NASDAQ's going to revert to the mean a little bit and come back into this 11,700 or so. So let's try the Amazon short on that break. It's going to be a trade that I'm going to see about holding for a little bit, at least back up to these levels here, 110.50 or so, if it doesn't work out for us. But not worth it. Like, there's only 40 minutes left before the imbalances come out. So if Amazon tanks, we want to be part of it, but we don't need to lose a significant part of our day because it doesn't do exactly as we thought. So here we go, coming back into the downside right there. Thank you so much for one more. And Neil, I'm going to give it back to you. I just want to thank these super chats before I go here. Member for 11 months. Thank you so much, man. Today is a good day. Today is a fantastic day for me as well. So thank you so much, Yannick. I know we're all having pretty good days. And then Sean, Neil, Brendan, all three of us, thank you. Yeah, Brendan, definitely not enough credit as he deserves all the time. Thank you so much. 2 times daily goal. That's what we're talking about. Keep up let us know, like, honestly, John and everybody, let us know, when you send these super chats, maybe what stocks you hit your goals on and things like that, because for me, that means a lot. If it's names that, I've been helping you guys with, or Neil, or anything like that, maybe you had an NVAX banger, maybe you still have this Unity, which is $1 in the money right now as well. Let us know, but thank you so much for this support. And this show is going to keep going on as long as I'm alive or get kicked off of it.
Yeah, and actually, as someone in the chat just put in there, hire female traders.
Yeah, no shit.
We want to. I'm telling you, look, we've been both.
I have one coming in for an interview.
We do have one coming in for an interview. But
Shout out to Stephanie.
The issue for us, and we've been doing this for a very long time, whenever we put out rounds for hiring, we just don't see the applicants. I don't. Look, you can read whatever you want or say what it is, old boys club, this or that, but I've seen successful female traders throughout our careers on the floor. There's just never been enough. And I don't know what it is, but if you're a good female trader, you're in the GTA, I mean, come on, all you got to do is apply. Like, we are actively looking for female traders, and it is one of those things. But unfortunately, we can't control who applies. We can just ask for us to get more. Maybe it works. We'll see. Speaking about shorts, I'm looking for that micron. I might take 2 swings at this because the semis just started to stall out there. If you look at the afternoon high on micron, I spent yesterday in the afternoon kind of hoping we'd get to 60, right? And we never got to 60. And then you broke out at 59.40. It failed to break 59.40 and then flushed into the close. Today, you've broken 59.40. Fail to get it to 60, and then you're right back at that level. So I'll play the short at that previous high into this top, and if that stops out, fair enough. I'd take another swing on a tight stop there. Like, I would rather take the small hit and then move on to the next trade. But it is micron that I just like at that level. It's had all kinds of trouble getting above that, which makes it easier to stomach. Like, you can see what's happened every time we've gotten up to that 60 level. I mean, hard rejection of a 60 break that came back into 57, and then essentially a triple top off this level. That's why I like micron up here. It's just generally been a good one. Until it breaks, we'll take a shot at it. We're still in a couple of shorts there, but I wanted to talk GameStop very quickly. There was no catalyst I'm aware of for the drop that happened in GameStop. Like, yeah, okay, fine, it broke 150. Failed at 153, which I kind of anticipated. So, I have no excuse for not being short. This is not a short trade, by the way. This is me getting out of the breakout long at 150. That went almost as far as I expected because 153 was a level on the daily, which I'll show you over here. This is your 153 area resistance on the daily. This is the last time it broke the 200 period moving average. It got to 153. Here you actually ended up stalling at 52, but I did miss the big rollover short. But once it had made that capitulation, I jumped over and shorted the first pop, 141, down to 139.5, and then got stopped out. But I haven't really done anything since. And since then, it's been bouncing off 136 and grinding lower here. I think 140 is your area of resistance here to play off of. But this has been, I mean, just a roundabout day for GameStop, because I started off wanting the short play off that failure at the 200 period, which essentially had gone $10 the last 2 times in the daily it happened. Today it broke out to the upside. And the lesson I learned there is, when you play a pattern trade like that, where essentially the entire reason for sitting it in the pre-market was after this type of a day where it wicks through the 50 period and then flushes, the day after, the day of, you had a huge red day, and the day after you had almost a $10 move to the downside. It did the same thing there. The difference here is you actually ended up positive when it did that wick. I didn't care too much about that. I still wanted to short off that 142, which was the lower high. However, once it decides that it does want to then hold the 200 period at the open and then break out, got to be willing to accept, not this break. When I get out, forget about that. Like, it still needs to break out higher. And it did break out higher. There's a long in here at about 145, 145 half. And that's what I wasn't willing to trade. So forget about this. Like, I'm never really going to be long down here with that overhead resistance. But that 145, that was a better scalp play than the 150. And I waited for a 150 long and said, yeah, I'll play off that level. I never got that short. I just think that if it pops up, muted move into 140 here could give you a bit of a scalp trade, just looking for things to short the pop. I got that Micron, so we'll add that to Alibaba, which is it comes to the upside. Baba, if we get anywhere close to that 104 view up, I'll try reloading this one and then playing back into these 102s. We're still below 3,800 on the ES, so some of these shorts make some sense to me still.
Yeah, we just got into we just got in. I mean, we could do the siren alerts for this one, because we did actually take an Amazon trade. It came back up to the 50 period, so this is not a full position. Once the 50 period gets broken like that, I don't have too many shares, so I'm going to stick with the idea right now, because it didn't break lower. I mean, it almost did, man. It almost did. I mean, that was a good level. We should have. Remember when I was saying we could have gone Apple long or we could have gone Amazon short? I mean, that Apple long, Apple was down to what, 140, 148.30 or something like that. There it is right there, right? So we talked about getting that long. Should have done that. Since we talked about it, it's only gone 7 straight up candles right there. But we'll hold Amazon here, and I'm going to just hold it to the main idea, which is playing off of this 111. So we'll get a few more short if we can come up here into the 50s or 60s. We'll take another piece, and then we'll see what happens about that high there. The market. I know Amazon's still down, and it could go green, and that could be the catalyst to put it green. Just the market taking off. I mean, and Amazon just goes, okay, I'll catch up, and then it does go to the upside. But if a market pulls back, this is definitely the name I want. We do have PayPal. We do have also Roblox. We really hit that one early. I was just kind of waiting on the last piece. Again, if the market takes off, I really like Roblox to get back up here into that 38. It's nice, bless you. It's nice to see your cough button works. I don't know. I assume it does. But again, Roblox, a nice little move back up to the upside there for that name. So I'm going to hold on to that. Maybe give a 37 another shot if that does come back in. But that's another name that we're looking at. So right now, Amazon 110 is what we're really doing. Yeah, I know, Eric. Roblox is. I mean, it was struggling to break that area. I think it still is struggling to break that area, right? It's the only long we have on right now, struggling to get here. And when it does, it didn't go too much further. But again, depending on the share size that you trade with, man, I mean, if you're going to go short on 37.80, I'm not sure you want to hold it all the way to 38.20 or 38.40, but maybe you do. So you do you, guys. And we're doing Unity as that continues to make a move to the downside as well. I kind of lost my train of thought here. Will the chips keep moving? I'm not 100% sure about that one.
Hopefully
I actually
think
tomorrow's going to be. I think tomorrow's going to be a green day, to be honest with you.
I know what Prad thinks. Prad thinks it's Free Fall Friday, right? Free Fall Friday?
I don't know. Who cares? Prad wore a red shirt on the day where I think the market just ripped up like huge. And he was, yeah, market sucks. See, so that's Prad there. Nothing to trade anyways as he's walking around. So, all right. The big thing here about what I wanted to say was, don't be afraid to apply to become a trader. You've seen the guys that are behind us. We hire anybody. So if you apply, most likely you'll, and the next thing you know, you'll be hosting a show with Prad, right?
Show up for the interview on time, though.
Yeah. And even if you don't, we'll hire you anyways, right? I mean, that's the
True
point
story.
that I'm getting at here. So, yeah, let's just keep on going about all of that. But never be afraid to apply for anything. I don't care what the job is. You never know what people are going to be looking for at the end of the day, right?
Never be afraid to ask for anything.
Like
I'm having this conversation with my daughter. When she thinks I'm going to say no to something, she'll be afraid to ask. She's like, let me whisper in your ear. And I said, you have to be able to ask me for something. The worst I can ever say, the worst anybody can ever tell you is no. But if you don't ask, you're not going to get the promotion. If you don't ask, you're not going to get the advice that you need. If you don't ask, you're not going to get the job. It's just that simple. People cannot be afraid. And if you don't ask for help, like, give me a break. Like people think that we're probably too busy, and maybe we are sometimes, to answer DMs. But when I'm on the train, if I get a free moment after reading my book, I'll answer DMs to the best of my ability. But if you don't ask a question, you're not going to get. And there's no such thing as a stupid question either. Because some people in our community are starting out as traders, and you might think of simplistic question that everybody else in the chat understands is wasting our time. It's not. Right. It really isn't, because I'd rather you learn something like that than make a mistake. Like when you get more experience in something basic you didn't understand completely when you started out. I will tell you this right now. I'm not going to name the trader, but there was a very simplistic market rule. And I don't want to say simplistic, but there was a market rule regards to extreme orders that you could throw, like how far you could cross the spread. A rule that most traders would figure out by a certain time. And this trader traded for years. And the time it really mattered, by the time they were trading large size, and it would come into play that one of their orders could reject in a big situation, it ended up costing them like probably 50 times or maybe 20 times the amount that it would have had they understood the rule. But if you just asked that question when they were a novice and understood it at the beginning, they wouldn't have made that mistake. And that's one thing that I always tell you is just learn the basics when it's not going to cost you as much. Because you do not want to learn a lesson 5 years into your career when the stakes are going to be a little bit higher. I'll tell you that much. It'll cause you some pain. And everyone does it from time to time. But heck, man, you don't get anything if you don't ask for it in this world.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, just apply and get going on this one. All right, so my focus. I don't have big shares on Amazon. I'll wait for that to come back up. My focus is now switching to Apple because Apple's just an absolute monster. I've been talking about this as the trade of the day. I made a lot. I mean, Apple's been a great trade for me this last little while. Like I said, 13 straight positive days in June. I went 17-5. A lot of that was due to trading the right names, and I just think Apple here, like. This is, resistance up here, triple top at 149. I mean, I don't like necessarily trading too much like this on a 1 minute chart. But, when you drop it down even to a 3 minute or something like that, I mean, you have 148.50 back here a couple of days ago, which were some tops. Once we broke that, you're seeing that that's now been kind of the bottom here, that 148.50 marker. So, there is something there. And then if you break the top, then you can always use this 148.50 or even drop it down to 148, something like that. Of course, these lines change as I change the chart, so I haven't really back tested the 50 period or anything on a 3 minute chart. Maybe I should, but back in, I'm just looking at a 149 break. I really think I like that trade, and with this momentum going to the upside. Now, I take that trade, sure, I'd get squashed on this Amazon trade, but I don't know if I'd average in as much. Where's my 1 minute chart now? I don't know if I'd average in as much to this Amazon trade. If I do, my 1 minute crash there. So I don't know if I'd average in on this Amazon trade as much if it does come out, because that's an old level here on Amazon, 114. But I was really looking at this 111 mark right here on Amazon, 112 coming into play. So that's still a few dollars away. So not the end of the world, but I do want to average into Amazon if it gets to that 111. So maybe we'll pull back our 110.60, wait to 111, and really focus on that Apple break of 149.
Two things. One, Tesla just went green on the session, so there you go. Tesla just broke that 710, but I want to make sure we got this super chat. Thank you, Beef Fanatic there, $5 super chat. Bears and Bulls, been killing it since he joined. He says, don't use this to buy options, or do for the $5. No, it just goes right back into the stream. All the super chats just goes right back into building the best show for you guys out there. But yeah, Bears versus Bulls done a fantastic job moderating for us, and we can't ask that enough. We can't say that enough. Doing a great job here. But Tesla booming, which does mean, look, if we're going to get a breakout in one of the bigger cap names, then we're under threat of that 3,800 coming into play, and that's the level I don't want breaking for some of these shorts. Whether it's it doesn't matter whether it's a tech short like a Micron or Alibaba It doesn't. I don't care. Like, to me, the NASDAQ has been pretty strong. It's been the ES that has been resisting that 3,800. Like, we had a rollover already off of that. If you go back overnight levels, it has been just a huge monstrous. It was support until it wasn't, and then now it's been resistance on this little bit of a trend that we've had down. But now that it looks like we can break it, there's no point. I'm not averaging into any of these shorts if we get above that level. And if we can make a base above 3,800, Tesla 710 does make some sense. I just hate punching long at 325 on late day breaks. When was the last time, maybe you guys tell me, when was the last time we actually had one of these V-shaped recovery from the bottom rallies where we maintained the high at the close? I just feel like I'm biased towards us always pulling back on these types of days. So, it doesn't feel like it's happened too often, but the day that it does, of course, will be the day that the shorts don't work going into that close. And Tesla, I'm not shorting this one because that's a pretty significant break there at 710. I kind of wish I'd just taken the break, to be honest with you. But I didn't see it till you guys said.
I mean, man, now I'm also looking at, again, we're having a great day again today, so everything's fine. I mean, obviously this Amazon trade is getting to the upside right now, but Apple, it just keeps on kind of rejecting this 149 area. So I'm, if it can't take it, does the market then just fall the rest of the day? Because, I mean, it's the leader is not leading the pack here. So just wondering about that and a possible short into 149, get out if 149 breaks and reverse the long, because like right now it's at 148.80, right? If I short it right there, even if I put 1,000 shares, 5 shares, 10 shares, whatever shares you want to put onto it, it's a 30-cent worth of risk, right? This is why we don't talk about share size, because it doesn't matter. Trade your own book, and I don't know what's a lot of shares for you or Neil or me or anybody. So trade your own book, but if you put on a position right now, your risk is 30 cents to the upside, right? Because breaks through 149, you get out and you're like, okay, that's what that is. The problem, the only problem is you really have to think that there's something coming from this market, because, if you go short now at 148.80, and it rips to 149, breaks 149, and then you decide to go long, and then it just reverts right back down because the market doesn't want to take out day's high, really, coming into the close, then you're going to lose twice. So that's really the risk, and that's why I'm saying, you got to stay confident and really think about the ideas that you want, and then don't try to, overthink it, which I'm kind of doing right now. So, for me, I'll probably just hold out on this, wait to see if this triple top gets broken on Apple, and just say that, hey, the NASDAQ's going to go positive here. The rest of the day, it's already positive, but it's going to remain up here and possibly even take out its day high, which would then, of course, bring us to that Apple break of 149. The only thing is now, again, that I look over at the clock, man, and you're not too far away from a close here. So, the power hour is really nice, but when a power hour does something like this, where you're barcoding up here on Apple, on Amazon, on every single stock I'm imagining right now. I look at Unity, still $1 in the money. Roblox, still 50 cents in the money. PayPal, still 30 cents in the money. They're all doing the same kind of thing here. So I don't know. That's just a little talk about what I'm thinking. I still have the order to punch long through 149, but I am also debating a short, so I can't really hate on anybody that does take that latter idea of shorting into 149. But Brendan, you have anything?
Just like Unity, guy, or not Unity. I was reconnected. We use a program called Unity. It's been a long day. UNH, on the other hand, up 0.5% here, just popped up on some volume, guys. Trying to hold, I mean, it's $500 stock, but trying to get back to day highs. This one on the board for tomorrow morning as well. United Health coming again tomorrow morning before the open, but trying to get back to day highs.
Yes, sir. And I did just get into Novavax there at 54. The best part was I actually, for a split second, I hit 54, and I'm like, why can't I get short at 54? Because it's short sell restricted. I'm not realizing it's short sell restricted and down 23%, but it did make that push into 55, and the market did just bounce off of 3,800. I mean, the S&P just bounced off that 3,800 temporarily, and I didn't really love the idea of adding another short, but this is one. It's obviously a relatively weak stock. I don't have to go out on a limb to be able to say that. And it had a lot of chop. This attempted to bounce at 55 very heavily. if you look at it, like it put a sustained, like it put a failed break at 55 and a capitulation candle. Then some actual buying really came in to take it up to 56. It then bar-coded looking like it was going to put in that higher low. In fact, it did, and then roll over. So you're going to take the trades where they lie, and this is a hard one to stay away from because the trading opportunity seems like it's there for Novavax. I just saw this in the chat. You guys were mentioning the CLNN. I don't think I've looked at this one today, to be honest with. Well, I mean, I have not looked at this one today. There's no question about it. So up 46%. I see a pretty obvious top here. Maybe it's got some room past 420 where it's sitting right now. It's got a 430 top with 440 sitting here on the daily. But why you're getting what I think is a little bit of a stall, like this last little breakout, like the volume just stalled out. I mean, I can already see the bids starting to disappear a little bit there. So it is starting to pull back. I think it's just because it got to a level on the daily, the market's at a top, and people want to start taking some profit. It doesn't help that if you look at these up days that it's had, a little bit of a gap up, got to $3, pulled back 10%. The next time it gapped up, pretty much at the open and went up to 320 and then pulled back 10%. So it's been rug pulling on a lot of these big pushes. This is about as strong as it's been any single day there. But I don't know what the catalyst is. Like they had a positive ALS trial data coming from Brendan. All I have to do is start talking about it, and Brendan already has the news for me. So there you go, positive ALS trial data. But getting to a level where there'd be a lot of people that are looking to possibly sell it, whether it's the consolidation here that rolled over, and then again, every time it gets back into this $4 range and just past it, the sellers come in en masse. Brendan?
Might have heard Trader Prad and Ian and or Luca talking about CGC. Some of the weed stocks popped up midday on that note that the legalization bill might hit the floor next week. CGC trying to go here again. They just posted a new patent for some technology that they're working on the cannabinoid oil side of things. But 8.5% here for CGC.
I mean, sell them all. Just sell them all, man. Sell all those stocks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're about to get a break here of Apple as well, so we're going to go long that one, remember. All right, CGC, we'll just quick look at it, man. Like $2? Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, this name, I don't even care about this. I mean, look, the last time we had some sort of a talk about, decriminalization and yada, 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 we did get a little bump up. I think there was a couple days, maybe it was even, no, it wasn't here in June. It might have even been this move here, where you go from 5. Was it that move? Maybe 5. You have to see. Was it March or mid-March when they first tabled this? Because $6, I think it must have been up to 9. So there's a 50% move to the upside, right? Like, so if you do believe that there is something coming from all of this, then I would say that now is probably a good time to buy because you're only up 10%. We do know these names can fly high as we go, so watch out for that. I mean, I would just say this is pretty much. I don't even want to go back any further because otherwise I'm just going to get upset. But I mean, if you look at some of this, pulling back in, you are now almost the furthest part away from the 50 period that you've almost been at. And again, you're going to be talking about percentage points when you look at it, but it was pretty tight around here. Now it's extended out. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we did make a run back to like 3 here or something like that. And a run to 3 would be up, 240, right? 10% is going to get you to 270. Then another 10% after that is going to get you to 3. So maybe you have, I don't know, a couple 20, 30 more percentage points to the upside before you maybe want to fade this. So I don't know. I think that if you think that there is something to this and maybe some sort of a deal gets passed, or it's never going to pass through. So I think you need a new administration. And I thought even with Trump that the Republicans, obviously we didn't think that they were going to do anything for marijuana, but the Democrats, should, and it doesn't look like that's why it made it through the Senate.
It ain't
happening. It's not going to get on the president's desk, I'm pretty sure, to sign through. So I don't think Biden's going to have an opportunity to do anything about it. So we'll just wait to see on that one. If you did have a full Democratic situation there in the states where you had both sides being Democratic, then you might be able to get it pushed through. But until then, I just think there's too many votes going against it. So you have to wait for marijuana bill or cannabis. I don't even know what it's called there, but that to get passed. Of course, here in Canada, it's no problem. But our demographic is, or not our demographic, just our population and demographics, much different. We don't have as many purchases there for marijuana as possibly the States would. So
You just gotta keep it simple. Like Doc Holliday said, here in Canada, it's legal.
it's legal.
The way he says it.
But look what's done.
I love
since then.
Doc Holliday.
Yeah, it's a great movie, obviously. So,
I wanted one thing on that line. I should have traded some sundial today. Actually, when that news came, the first thing that popped into my head. Well, not actually. Someone in the chat said this. Look at sundial. Look at sundial. It's been my go-to for trading because even though it's a penny stock, it's really spicy. But it's so far removed from where you actually make money on the stock, shorting it, which is close to $1 every time it gets there, that I'm not sure how good it's going to be unless it gets up to at least the 50 period. Like if this pops to like 45 or 50 cents, like really extends itself, that's when you want to be trading it. So, unfortunately, it's got decent volume, but 130 million, even for that, it's not that great. And I just got wicked out of Alibaba. So you know what just happened? So 3,800 did just get broken. I still have this issue on my chart. Give me a break. But that's 104 on BABA. So I didn't reload it because I didn't want to reload in front of that 3,800 on the ES. And then, of course, it rejects. So this one I will be stopped out of. I still have that Tbph and Micron and NVAX. But the last of my Alibaba trade is going to be gone. I'm sitting right here on the bid on NVAX to see if we can get some at that quarter level. So 53 quarter on the 54 short and just see if we can get this maybe down to 52. I feel like we're not going to see $50. Like that was the bounce off $50 was pretty significant enough that I think it's very unlikely that you're going to get any kind of retracement in just 20 minutes all the way down to those lows. So we got to bring the register and take the profits where you can on NVAX. As I said, I actually did just celebrate that, but I can't say this enough. One of the things I'll think about is I fully intended to have a 68 stop on NVAX today. So the real question becomes, and I know what happened here, like realistically, even if I have a 68 stop on this, once it puts a wick off top through that consolidation, I just need to get back in. So the true answer to what I should have done differently was just jump back into the trade when it puts a wick off top. But the second thing that I have to consider is ask myself, if I really love the sell the news event on Novavax, why was I not willing to take a short into $70? That's the real question. That's the other question I should be asking myself. It closed at $69.95. It had this little pre-market high just shy of that 70 area. That's a much more reasonable hard stop than having it at 68, which didn't give it much room to work. So there's two things I could have done better, and I really only gave you one, but there is that second aspect of it. Just give it to 70 even. And if that means not taking a second entry like I did, then that means not taking a second entry. Because you know what? It's all well and good to size up on the trade, but then if it doesn't allow you to hold the trade, then it's pointless to do it. If you take an amount of size that doesn't allow you to have the stop necessary, which could have been $3 instead of $1, then don't take that much size. Because it's better to be in the trade for the flush than it is to just have the bigger position and get stopped out. Who cares? It's not saying it's going to go down isn't good enough. You actually need to be in the trade as it goes down. So there's a couple of ways I could have done better with Novavax. We'll see if it can flush bid here, but I'm telling you, the shorts are just going to work as long as 3,800 doesn't want to go on the ES. Every single time we get here in one of these rally days, I just feel like we just sell off into the close when we can't get through this level on the S&P 500. So it's another one of those days.
Yeah, I got out of Roblox there just because I did think that there was going to be a downside move. It's a $200 million sell, so once we broke the 50 period on Roblox, we'll end that one. And maybe you might want to do some of that electric lettuce. I saw someone post there as you're playing Roblox with your kid, because that's a for that. I mean, if anybody knows, man, like I'm a master of Brookhaven. If you ever play Roblox with your kids, okay. But
I should know that.
nah, it's just it's like a world or something like that. I don't even know how to explain
What castle's into it?
Right there, man. Big buyer right now. All of a sudden on Roblox, just saw it right now. 50,000 shares right there. But we did. Okay, we did. Not Brendan yet. 1 second. We did do a reload here. So we'll see here on Amazon. I was waiting for a higher, but then when Apple failed at 149, I was like, you know what? let's just take a little bit more here on Amazon. So I wish I took more there. This was my initial spot. Remember I said 110.50, 110.60, but the market really started to work. So I was like, yeah, well, let's wait a little bit longer. Nepa, we don't wait that long. We got in a little bit. I wish I would have gotten more. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. But right now we're in the money on that Amazon short. So let's see if it comes back in. You can see the average price now 110.17. It's barely in the money. But I'm looking at this level again, 109.80. Hopefully we can get some more out there. We will take another dip. I thought I am here at 03. So if it comes down to 110.03, just a random spot again, we'll pick that. And then we'll hope, there it is. Yes, sir. Here we go, man. Amazon. Let's end the day with a banger here on Amazon. Unity's $1 in the money. PayPal's 50 cents in the money as we continue to hold that short. And then that call I also gave you on Apple, man. Congratulations. I said you could roll the dice on this one if you wanted to. There's your payday already there on Apple if you held the short. But I am glad now that we average in a little bit to this Amazon trade because that's getting real good here, real fast on the short for Amazon. What's up, Brendo?
Maybe one to add to your list for tomorrow, guys. Natera, which is a little laboratory company. United Healthcare announcing this morning, 10:30, that they've selected this NTRA as their preferred laboratory network. So up 9% here. Nice breakout for NTRA today.
I will add it to my watch list there, Brendan. And we always look for a catalyst. That's what it's all about. But in the words of Brandon, dump it. He said dump it when the market didn't actually come back down a little bit, but now we can start to talk about that because I think the second or third or maybe even fourth rejection of that 38 level looks good. We're rolling over in Micron. Now Novavax looks like it's going to head down to that 52 level for me here. I'm on my 15-minute chart because my 3 has been giving me frustrations with some data issues, but 52 is going to be that out for me. I don't think we can get to that 50 level. Unfortunately, like I said on oh my God, I was about to butcher it again. In Alibaba, I did get that stop out at 104, and it's right back to this 103 level. So if I could held on to this, we'd still be pretty good, but then I wouldn't have adhered to my stop. I think we want to make sure. I mean, the imbalances right now look like it's going to be a small sell. We got an early look of 208 million. But the way I see it, the size has not mattered for those imbalances. I think the price action in the market is what we want to be concerned with here. Like, I don't care. Unless that was like a few billion or something like that, it doesn't matter. What matters is we are once again rejecting a high on a recovery day. When you get bottoms like we just saw in the futures, or even like Baba, like you saw the news came in Alibaba, goes down to $100. It comes back to 103. People want to sell that. In Novavax, same thing. You get a relief. You got a monster relief rally here. So people that went long in this, do they want to take some profit? Every single time we've had a huge V shape, has it done anything to the downward trend? No. Not a damn thing. We've still been in it. You can draw a nice little trend line here. We've still been rejecting making higher highs despite these rallies. And that's why you see this profit taking time and time again. And that's why we're just going to go to that side of the trade. I want the market to break out from here. I want 3,800 to go. But wanting it isn't going to make it happen, unfortunately. So it's short till it's not is the way I like to think about it. And that's exactly what it is. Tesla, which is breaking out still off that 710 level. It did just pull back and bounce off 710. And again, I want to break out long late in the day if we're clearing through that 38 and screaming to the upside. And Tesla would have been one about 780, but not when we're rejecting the same resistance that's happened time and time again.
Look, we have a lot of bullets to fire here. And I don't know why Amazon's not ticking even lower than 110 right now. I'm waiting a little lower than that, as you guys know, to see if we can get some fills in the 80s on Amazon. But I mean, I'm 20 cents in the money. This was against me at one point. Debating taking some more out here. Now I'm a little upset that I didn't short Apple. But again, I don't want to get caught. Yeah, you know what? Let's take another piece out here if we can get something on Amazon. There it is. We just got it at 105, of course. So there it is. Take another piece out on this one. And we are now holding still a little bit more than half, about 60% of this combined trade there on AMZN. But no, I don't use ticker trend, but of course we know what they are, the average ticks, upside or downside.
I know a few traders that swear by it, but I mean, everyone does their own thing. Everyone has their own indicators. I know a few people that really love it on the floor that have been trading a long time, but we don't use it. I don't think I ever have, to be honest. I don't know if you have.
No. I was once developing a program with it, but it never really. I've looked at it. I don't really like it. Okay, so yeah, PayPal is flushing. So you are right there, Mohammed. But again, I wonder if it's going to be a little bit of a sell imbalance. We do have PayPal right here, and thanks for bringing it up, Mohammed, there on the chat, because this was a name that I was looking to get out here as we approach volume weighted average price here of 69.50. I mean, my best out is just down here in all this consolidation down at 69.30. So again, for anybody we put this on when Prad was on the midday show, and I did post it in the chat. And I know Bears vs. Bulls posted it as well when I took this trade, but a 70. Same price, whatever I have there, flat on that one. So we're going to wait to see, what's going to happen here with PayPal. I still think we can break this view up and go to the downside, but you can see what's happening right now to these futures. They're starting to head back to the 50 period, which generally speaking is not something that I'm excited about to hold the short through there. So the same kind of logic is going through my head now. That's why we got out of Amazon and just debating taking this 50 cents here on PayPal, because we also do have Unity to the short side. This is also barcoding. So with now only 6 minutes until the market on close and balances come out. And again, not scared of them. It's just, if it's going to be a sell, we're short, so that's good. I think we could probably hold on to these until that imbalance comes out. Either way, the biggest position on for me, because this Unity, we're already, 10, 20, 30, 40, 20, 40, 60, 80. So we have 20% of Unity left. We only have 20% of PayPal left as well. It's 25% of Unity, 20% of PayPal left on. But the bigger trade here is what we have on Amazon. We still do have about that 60% of our initial take here on Amazon. So this is the name that I'm more worried about. And I still do think that we can get down to this 109.80. So I have a bid right there as we shout out to Hydration Nation. If there's any members watching out there, shout out. Stay hydrated, have your water, and watch out for that into the close. So let's just keep on going. Amazon right now looking to break through 110. If we get it, then I think we can do that little backflip, because then I think we get that 109.80. So let's hold out for that trade until it comes through. Amazon 109.80 is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm just taking that Tbph, that small cap. I'm taking that one out. It's really started to go sideways on me. It's in the money and was able to take 20 cents on the last of it. Not nearly as good as this morning, but got to start to take those off when they're not moving. Novavax is headed toward 52, but I wanted to point this one out because I was going over some names. And Roku, look, you reject enough and this trend continues to the downside where we get good pops and we keep flushing off of them like these bear market rallies, as was pointed out in the chat. Then you can start to think about some of these levels that are coming into play. Roku 80 is a pretty big one. Like, we've had a significant bottom around the 70, 72.5 to 75, but it's put in a higher low at 80 that's been held, and we've just bounced shy of it. This is something that can come into play potentially tomorrow. So if we do get what Prad's little free fall Friday, and then Roku at 80 even is going to be a big level that I will certainly be watching. Sometimes you want to get out ahead of these things. I don't think we mentioned Revlon at any point today. Every single day, I don't know, I kind of feel like the last couple of days, it's been so slowly grinding up. It's not significant, but it's just sliding and sliding. And I don't want to get caught off guard the day this thing actually gets to 650, because 650 support falls apart, and then resistance. Like, this thing has some squeeze potential breaking back through the 650 level. So I want to make sure we keep an eye on that one. It got above $6 today for the first time in a couple of days, and looks like it could be making a little bit of a push there going into tomorrow. Let's go NVAX, dump it. We're only down about 10 points from that 3,800 level, but Novavax, the weakest name in the market today, rolling over from 54. And what I could do with imbalances about to come out here is just sort of get off the bid and then put a trailing stop in, which that's my preferred way to trade that. If we go somehow big sell imbalances, or somehow maybe there's a sell imbalance on NVAX, I don't know, then you take advantage of that move, but I'll put a trail on. So if it comes the wrong way, I'll just trail it to like 52, like 70 or something like that. So I'm going to get my trail in with 2.5 minutes to go on NVAX.
For you, Sharif, money, coming through. There you go, man. Stick with it. And UB's rewarded. Look at Amazon right there, right into the level that I called, 109.80 there. So you land in that mattress. I really do think that there is a little bit more down here at 109.60. So guess where my next bid is? We're going to go down to that 109.60-ish area down there to see if we can get that trade going through. There it goes, man. Yes, sir. Really happy as we'll put that bid in now as we come back in for Amazon. Good short, good trade, good reload, everything all good on this one, as Amazon will get, once again, man, up to the number, I don't know, it'll be That won't be the number one stock on the show. I think that might still be Unity, but AMC was a good one for me today as well. Yeah, Apple. Man, I really wish we'd still held onto that Apple trade. That really sucks. But there it is, a 149 drop all the way down to 148 now for Apple. So we did talk about shorting that in. I mean, I can't, I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, I missed on the Apple trade because, again, Amazon's not as profitable as the Apple trade, but it's pretty darn close as you're getting ready to rock and roll down to the downside right now with only a couple minutes till imbalances now. Definitely worth looking at some of these names. Let's call up our imbalance locator just to see where we're going to go. And we're going to take out ARCA because we don't care about that exchange for right now when these imbalances come through. And again, this is all from 9:30, so in approximately a minute at 3:50, the market changes its mind. Wow, Amazon, hello. Someone big on bats right now buying the shit ton of Amazon right there. So I don't know if that was
right
Sharif.
In front of the imbalances.
Maybe Sharif made a keystroke there and he has too
balls.
many shares on there. But right there, 500,000 shares buying Amazon. You could say see you later and wish you didn't do that. What? Oh, they're gapping up. There's something going on Amazon. You just this guy's pushing Amazon right now with a hell of a lot of shares. I'm going to get out of this
In front of him,
and then just go long on this one. If it does break below, man, I don't want it, but we are going to go long on Amazon now. And then if it breaks, we're going to get out. But there we go, man. I just reversed long into somebody pushing Amazon right there. So Let's go back up to the upside. I got out of it on that push, guys. I don't know who that was, but you saw it live here right now. We are now long on Amazon. I'm going to take out a little bit of profit here at 07 and 08. This is how you trade, baby. You take those positions, man. You see something and you take advantage of it. Let's go. Oh, hell yeah. Amazon blowing up. Let's go, Amazon. Thank you to Gabriel yesterday saying that the best tape reader, the best level 2 reader he's ever seen. Boom, Amazon, right there. There it is, up to the upside. Yes, we capitalize on that one. Spin it once again. The imbalances are out right now. Citigroup, a milli, all these other
Amazon,
names.
668,000 to buy. So it was a buy and balance. That's pretty insignificant.
Boom, floss that off right there, man. We just made a lot of money on that move. So thank you so much for identifying that. I'm just glad I was on the level 2, man. And that's really what it's about. I saw that buyer. We switched up our bias, and then boom goes the dynamite on that one. Yes, sir. We'll end the day at our highest spot. Couldn't be happier. Thank you, Amazon buyer, whoever that was, for tipping your hat a little early.
Yeah, overall, I mean, Amazon did come out of buy and balance. Overall, it's pretty insignificant across the board. BAC at 800,000, that's about it. So nothing burger on the imbalances outside of that size order that we saw on Amazon. For my positions, I'll probably just have to get out of Micron manually. Well, manually, obviously, but the trail didn't work out. We actually didn't pop to the upside. We didn't flush to the downside. So we're going to have to take 59s if we can get them. We'll hold on to it because it's in the money at this point. And it's the same thing with Novavax. It actually didn't make any move on the imbalances. It got to 52, which was our original target. It popped all of like 20 cents or so. We're sitting at 52.30 right now. So it's going to work out fine. We just might not actually extend past that 52 even, which it didn't have any real size on the bid, but it's got a couple thousand share lots that have yet to be broken on Novavax. So if that doesn't go out of the way there, we'll just take this one off and be happy with the $1.50. To be perfectly honest, I'll just be happy to be up on Novavax today, because I'll spend my entire train ride home thinking about this trade and this trade alone from the morning. 67 into 50, but here comes back to the upside. Bit of a bid here. I wouldn't be surprised because it was so much sell action there. I wouldn't be surprised if we retest that 3,800 on the ES. It would be interesting. If we can clear that at the end of the day, that would be a pretty bullish sign going into Friday.
Wow. Wow. Again, man, that was an awesome moment there on Amazon. Glad that we had it live on the show for you. Wow. And really happy that we're able to reverse that. I mean, in hindsight, probably could have reversed it before that a little bit. But then once it bumped it up, remember I was just joking around that, that's Sharif there with 500,000 shares. The thing is, that guy was getting hit. But then you see he's back. He's back. Look at it. Still going to the upside right now. I'm going to hold on to the rest of these. This dude ain't done, man. Somebody is buying the living crap out of Amazon here in the last little while. Look at these candles on the 1 minute chart. I don't know if we can make this bigger somehow. Let's see if I can just do this, make this bigger. These are all buy. How much time is left? These are all buy candles. Strong buys coming in here. How do I I don't know if you can see it. There you go. All strong buy candles coming in. Look at this, up to 50 and still pushing. This is exactly what trading's all about, man. I mean, this is why I'm sitting here, and this is why I say to you, like every single day, you know, like get those toolboxes, get them out, man, and go to freaking work. Like this is what we do. I'm not honestly like. If it breaks back down, that's fine. There it goes. Let's see if this dude shows back up. He just broke.
It's carrying off a little bit, the
imbalance.
imbalance.
So, again, I'm not even looking at the imbalances. I'm just reading the tape
I don't
here.
know if every single time I see that guy take a fill, it's anecdotal, but the imbalances tick down a little bit for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm almost out. So, I mean, on this trade, I actually don't have that much left. There he comes back again there as a buy. But, wow, this just put it through the roof. Amazon now the #1 stock on the show. Spin it there. So there goes Amazon. A nice little move to that upside as we go. Unity close. A close set. Unity would have been #1 if that Amazon move. Well, first of all, if Amazon would have continued down, probably that would have happened anyways. But Unity, we just got it out right there for $2 or whatever, $1, sorry. Winner on that one. We did get out of our PayPal as well at VWAP when that came through because all my mind went right back to Amazon. And look where we punched long, man. We were punched long down here, 110. It's at 110.50. That was awesome. I love it. That was a great experience for me, and I hope you guys saw that as well. A nice little move back up to the upside. So there it is, man. 110.50. That's where we took it up all the way to the upside, man. That order was just a great blessing in disguise. Glad we saw that. And honestly, if I wasn't on the level 2, I wouldn't have saw it, right? So that's the advantage of sticking with single names, trading what you know best, and there it is, Amazon.
And it's an easy thing to have only charts up, right? Because most people do it. But the level 2 is absolutely important because some trades that trade is entirely off the level 2. There's nothing else about it there. It's still pairing off a little bit, but then the balance just got bigger for the first time. At 355, instead of decreasing, it actually increased by about 50 to 60,000. Why I'm sitting there staring at it is one of the plays I usually like that I don't think you can make because of that buyer would be to, if there's a buy imbalance that pushes it into a high, anticipating a pair, scalp it off the high of the day. The problem with that trade is you had that buyer, which is going against you. I haven't seen him come back, so it might still be valid, but it also just grew the imbalance a little bit the last time I checked. And you want it to be a decreasing imbalance if you wanted to fade it, although it might have actually paired off altogether now. I don't see it anymore. Do you see it? I don't see it.
I'm not even looking at it. I mean, this buyer's still going. Like I said, sometimes this is unbelievable. The only mistake that I made was getting out. Like, you know, obviously when we saw that imbalance come through, I didn't even see it on the imbalance. I just saw that trader jump it up, right? Jumped up their bid to 97, put a lot on the bid, and then just kept on going back up to the upside. So, I mean, you know, tickle me pink, because if something comes out on Amazon tomorrow bullish, then you know who's doing this, man. Like if Morgan Stanley comes out tomorrow and honestly upgrades this stock, that bank is as crooked as the letter Z, because that wouldn't surprise me one bit. I'm actually going to call out whoever upgrades this stock tomorrow, because that's a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. But hey, when you're here sitting down making money, I'll take it, man. We'll have some nice chicken dinner winners today for you, including, man, one red name today, Meta. One red name. Yesterday we went, what was it? We only had one red name yesterday too. I think we were 9-1 yesterday. Today we're going to go like 10-1. So big time trading today. Amazon definitely starts that party off, but what a great move. Now it's at 80. Like this is unbelievable for Amazon as it just continues to move upside. What a great, I'm just glad to see that trade. You have to be on the level 2, like Neil said.
And they're remember, they're taking the fill. It's one thing if a person ticks up an order and it's on the bid, but it never takes a fill when it gets to the level 1. Consistently still at the high of the day, whatever program is buying, and it's like an algo buying program, because it just keeps making the level 1 higher for differentiating size. So it's trying to get an amount filled, and it's sort of like sometimes it puts 50,000, sometimes it puts 20,000, sometimes it puts 5,000, wherever liquidity will have it, and it's getting all of these fills. So somebody has a buy program running at the end of the day. Maybe it's an Amazon Prime thing. I have no idea. But either way, it's still at that high of the day. You can't put any fade on it as long as this buyer is still there. And even for small amounts, I actually see on level 2, they're still using the bats. The biggest gateway consistently has been bats on the way up. I just looked at it to see if there was anything significant here at these prices, but not really. And they're just randomly buying it into the close here. I don't know if it's a conspiracy if somebody upgrades the stock tomorrow, because if it's like a no-name bank or whatever, then
still conspiracy, man. They could be the ones buying it.
I don't
you know. Look, the market's crooked. The market is definitely like influenced, and I mean, look, that's about as obvious as can be. So, I mean, to think that that's a pump up because someone's going to upgrade it tomorrow, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. It actually wouldn't even be the only stock today that happened to. We just caught it.
Yeah, but you should be buying the lows, not the highs. Like, that's just beyond stupid if they're doing
Well,
that.
no, it's later the day, right? They don't have enough shares, so they have to buy it. They have to buy it at the end of the day. So that's what happened, man.
Could have to do with options. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could have to do with anything, but I'm telling you, we'll just see tomorrow. If it happens, it may not happen, right? They could upgrade it 2 days from now to not look as suspicious, but whatever. You guys already know this market's rigged, but let's go over to Brendan over there at the desk and see who's going to rig it tomorrow with these earnings.
They may or may not be on this board. I kid. Let's have a look at what is to come, guys, mostly before the open tomorrow.
I mean, the bank plays.
Yeah, forget the banks.
I don't know. Like, you get Citi and I thought it was only Citigroup, but it's Citi and Citibank and Wells Fargo. United Health, the healthcare sector, we talked about that one. Watch out for those. Let's be real. Where are we going to be looking tomorrow? We're going to be looking back at the chips. We're going to be looking at Amazon. I'm going to be looking at Novavax and Alibaba. You just go back to the well with some of the same names. But 100% at the open, if you're not watching Amazon at these particular prices, you have to, because somebody was buying up a ton of shares there with a buy program. So they have an agenda, to be sure. We have an agenda at the close, and that is to get you Tony ringing the bell. We might not be able to have Tuesdays with Tony, although we'll see about that. But Tony can still ring the bell, so LT Gray himself will be on the bell in just about 20 seconds. Been an awesome show. The market did get green on the NASDAQ, the ES. It would take one heck of a final 10 seconds for that to happen there, Pradley. But there we go, dropping the countdown for you there. Tony, dance it off in 5, 4, 3, 2, and...
I just want to see if someone's stupid enough to upgrade this stock tomorrow. Let's wait to see if that does happen. Thank you so much to everybody on the chat, man. That was really awesome, and I was really glad to bring that to you and glad to trade it for you live here on the show. I mean, that's what it's all about for all of us. Thank you, Tony. That was a nice one, a nice little ring there. I see he's got the tiger stripes on today in the orange, so shout out to you, Tony. Thank you once again for all of that. Thank you to everybody today that continues to work real super hard for us and be able for us to create the kind of show that we have on right now. So what a great day. What a fantastic. Is this real right now?
Amazon did 2.5 million shares.
Yep.
The final print was 2.5 million shares at like 63, 110.63. So, yeah, let's just say there was a rather large closing.
Who is this right now? Is this real?
What?
No,
I see it. It looks real to me. There's a seller now.
Now it's gone, but
I saw the same thing.
You know, now there was just a big. Did he just get chewed up there? I don't even know. It was 200,000 shares, wasn't it? Anyways, I don't know. There's definitely something up with this trade, but anyways, Elliot just took a big stake in Pinterest. You know, does that have something to do with Amazon? Yeah, maybe not, but we're going to see if that comes through
push
here.
For a sale.
There goes Pinterest.
Yeah, they're
$17 up to 21 right now on a big move there for Pinterest. New sites there set by Elliot on Pinterest. So watch out for that one as that's up to $22 here off of those bottoms. Look, man, this is what's going to happen to the market. There's been so many depressed prices, so many stocks that are like this that you're going to get activists that are going to step in and start to look at some of these names, right? Pinterest, another one, up 22%. I mean, what is that, back to last week highs or
pretty
something?
Much.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. I kind of said that tongue-in-cheek without even looking. That's exactly where it went to. No, on the day, no, what is this? 2
well,
weeks
it got
ago,
to
right?
24, though.
Oh, yeah, but I just mean right here, where we're at right now, $22, just goes back to June 27th. Okay, thank you so much. There it is, William, man. I mean, tweet at me, do all this kind of stuff. I want everyone to do this. You just made 10 grand because of me today. I mean, that's exactly the kind of stuff that we're talking about. I see you guys post this every single day, that you're taking some calls. Like, you're making more money than I am, so let's go. Great job, man. Thank you so much for that call out. I really like it, and I really appreciate it. But Brendan, did the ES, I know I look at the NASDAQ all the time, but did the ES get green?
So close. No, it did not. Here we go. 0.3 negative, 0.5 for the Dow, the NASDAQ, 0.3 in positive territory. I mean, the way this morning was shaping up, we'll take it at the end of the day. Nice bounce. It's worth noting down here for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, up almost 11%, guys.
Yeah, like there was actually a break. Like Ethereum broke out secondary break in the afternoon, which hasn't really been happening a heck of a lot. You'll get these bounces and they're just kind of mute there, but not a bad look there. And for those of you, like Elliot is a very well-known, like we're talking about Pinterest here, very, very well-known activist investing firm. And they can put them on the block. Putting them on the block doesn't mean they get sold, right? Activist investors wanted Kohl's to get sold. And we all know what happened with that nonsense. They should have taken the deal at 60. If they go on the block and someone offers for Pinterest and they don't take whatever price is offered, then they're foolish as far as I'm concerned. But we could see that happen. That's about all some of these companies have left.
You're welcome, man. I mean, someone again saying thank you for spawning. I mean, yeah. Look, I'm here for you guys. We're not going to be playing around here. I'm not here just to, play around. I mean, I'm here to make some money. So great call. Thank you so much to everybody. I saw what you put in there, Leroy Jenkins. Funny guy, but you're not far from being wrong on that. So, all right. Yes, thank you so much to everybody. Maggie made we talked about this yesterday, Brendan. Maggie made her daily walk to the back here for the close. So let's put her on camera one more time. Shout out. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Fawad. Thanks, Lucas, again for that. Great help. There she is. And there's everybody. So thank you to everybody today. Thanks to the guys behind us. Thanks to all the traders that helped us out in the midday show, of course. Brandon Branko's got a couple shout outs there today. So thanks for all the work that he's done today as well. If he dumped Amazon, he got burned on that one. But Amazon, a great little call. Really happy today, Brendan. How was your trading, by the way?
Good. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty quiet. Lots going on today, obviously, with headlines. But yeah, can't complain.
Cool. I'll be at High Park tonight. It's Mariners versus Mets. So go Mariners, go. The hottest team in real baseball, the Mariners. I think it's only won like 11 in a row or something like that. So shout out to the real Mariners. We'll be coaching the little wee ones.
You're going to want to watch the Derby.
Today. So I can see Pujols.
No. Julio Rodriguez on the Mariners, this young 20-year-old kid. Whether you like baseball or not, he should put on a show in the Derby for sure.
Yeah, that is this weekend, right? No, next weekend I think it is.
Well,
midweek.
The Derby's usually like Monday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. So I think this weekend is the last. Because the Royals are here for 4 games, and I think that's it. And by the way, the Royals, did you hear their story? They can't even bring in half their team, like 10 guys unvaccinated. So go Jays, go! This weekend.
Coach Snyder with 10 guys out. I don't know.
I mean, I'm guessing that the odds aren't very good. Oh, also the British Open. I'm in a couple pools there. It'll be interesting to see what goes down in the British Open as well. You got a pick for us, Brendo?
Tiger was on page 1 when I checked.
Okay, so he'll be on page 2 tomorrow. But congratulations, Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
I like Tiger Woods. I just question the endurance, right? I mean, obviously we can't. I mean, legend Tiger Woods. Him and Djokovic, man. Wow, those guys are just dominating. Djokovic has 22 Grand Slams. Can you believe that? 22 majors.
What a beast.
And then Tiger has 15 in golf. But okay, let's go. Let's wrap this thing up. Wow, it's 4:06. Jeez. All right. So thank you for watching. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. Sleep well. Banks on deck, and we'll catch you in the AM. Watch out for Amazon. Ciao, everybody.